Welcome. Cowboy fans, Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G. I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. So we're going to get to the bottom of what led to Brian Schottenheimer getting hired. If you've been paying attention in my videos, I've been talking about this and listening to some of the talking heads. Some of the things that I said were actually true, and Brian Schottenheimer was not the plan. Brian Schottenheimer was the alternative. And the part of the plan that failed, there was actually two parts of the plan that failed. And I'm gonna take you all the way through this so we can understand why did they choose Brian Schottenheimer. Why did they do it? Cowboys for sure, and we'll get into all of this, but I've already told you what Brian Schottenheimer represents with this team. This team, and what concerns me, this team did not feel like it needed change, nor did it want change. And so Brian Schottenheimer is actually a result of that. So again, welcome everybody, whether it be 20 or 20,000, we're going to talk Cowboys. So as people kind of come in, we're going to go ahead and get it started. We're going to get into the conversation. Let's get some greetings out of the way. Gregory, what's going on? Wilson Santiago, Sonny McCormick, what's going on? Freddie, what's going on in the crib? Eddie, Michelle, what's going on? Roderick, appreciate you becoming a member. Got some good stuff coming here pretty soon. Blue Star in the crib, what's going on? JS238, Daniel M, what's going on? So let's read a couple things here before I get started. 2025, exactly right. It's going to be a wait and see. And the thing about Brian Schottenheimer, we don't know really what to say. I mean, you really can't say anything bad about Brian Schottenheimer. I mean, you probably can. There are people who are saying bad things about him. But the reality of it is, and I'm going to give you some of the characteristics. I've been kind of just listening to some of the talking heads and then my own analysis of his seasons with Russell Wilson. And even when you think about, there were people who wanted this man to be a head coach. He was looked at as somebody to be a head coach. And I'm even going to tell you about him and Pete Carroll. Because a lot of people did not understand what was going on with the Pete Carroll issue. But I'm going to show you even where people were barking up the wrong tree with the Pete Carroll stuff. And I'm going to even show you where Pete Carroll figured into all of this too. Sonny said, I don't even know what to say since my opinion doesn't count anyways. No, that's not me. If he'll put a boot to butts, he will succeed. If he doesn't, he's just a yes man. He won't. He's one of these guys. We really don't know what to say about him. Figures, Jerry's determined to run the Cowboys into the ground. Sad situation for all diehard fans. Now, Eddie, keep in mind, Jerry didn't want Brian Schottenheimer. Brian Schottenheimer is Stephen Jones. Brian Schottenheimer is Stephen Jones all the way. Blue Star said the Dallas Cowboys officially eliminated from the playoff contention for 2025. Jerry, you make blue oil. Well, here comes the blame it all on Dak Prescott. We're going to talk about that in just a moment, Blue Star. Hold on a second. Yeah, congrats to Coach Schotty. Like to hire him. Let's go to work. All right. Daniel said this was Stephen Jones. Yeah. Jerry Jones. This is not a Jerry Jones hire. This is a Stephen Jones hire. and this isn't official, you're about to watch the transition of the changing of the guard. This is about the transition over the next 3 years. It's going to transition to Stephen Jones. Stephen Jones wanted Schottenheimer. Let me get some more. Read a couple of more of your comments, and I'm gonna get right back into it. This team didn't want to change. That's it. That's one of the things I said. They didn't want to change. And everything you heard, if you didn't pay attention, they didn't want to change. They didn't. They didn't want to change. And that was one of the things I was saying all along. I was afraid they didn't want to change. When you think about what these Cowboys players have done. First, they advocated Mike McCarthy. And you're thinking, man, they must really like Mike McCarthy. Do they? So they go right from advocating for Mike McCarthy to advocating for Brian Schottenheimer. Why are they doing that? They don't want change either. They didn't want change. They didn't. I'll root for the team. Yeah, me too. And I think they've made one really good move, depending upon who you ask. I think they've already made one good move with Brian Schottenheimer. I think they've already made a good move. LaQueen, what's going on? Keith Beecham. Kellen has better options, G. I'm telling you, and I'm about to unleash on what I told everybody about Kellen Moore. JS Tube says, I live in San Diego. I remember when Shotty worked with his father. The days of Tomlinson and Breeze. Yeah. He's a good football man. He's made his bones. Give him a chance. No doubt. We'll see what he does. Blue Star says, so you mean to tell me Stephen Jones already running the team? Oh, yeah. Shotty was his. Shotty is all Stephen. He's all Stephen. Besides him being cheaper than Jerry, shaking my head. Well, if that's the case, we in a lot of trouble. Oh, yeah. This is all Stephen. Remember, man, Real Fan 1, I broke this down last night, man. Marty Schottenheimer is 5-13 in post games. I hope that Brian Schottenheimer is different, but I will show you some things on where Brian Schottenheimer may be different. All right, so let me read a couple more, then I'm gonna take it from the top. There's been reports on Matt Eberflus being, he's a DC. Yeah, he's a DC. I think that's one of the good picks. I think that's one of the good things they did was the Eberflus guy. Fans don't let Jerry Jones and Steven sell you on this garbage and buy their tickets. Oh, they're already sold. You don't even have to worry about it, Reginald Trudeau. They're already sold. Welcome to the show. Cowboys Nation's going crazy right now. Need to pump the brakes. We don't know what to expect from Shotty. Will be the first time as a head coach. This was a risky move. Let's see if it paid off. So, let me read Gabe, and then I'm going to get into this. Gabe, what's going on? He says, this strictly a money move by Stephen Jones to keep continuity in the offense. Yeah, and keep the seat warm until Jason Witten. I'm about to blow y'all's mind with this. I've been saying this, and nobody's listening to me, Gabe. Shotty is the alternative. The plan was Kellen Moore. Shotty's the alternative for the real plan, Jason Witten. Jason Witten's the real plan. Jason Witten is the real plan. And I'm going to explain that in just a moment. Let me read a couple more and do a couple more greetings. Ready to take the reins. Basically, a cheaper Mike McCarthy is the head guy. What's going on, Brandy? Will he call plays? Yes, I believe he will call plays. CB says he's excited about Shotty. Daniel says, Shotty, 4-year deal. Wait a minute. I'm going to blow your mind with his timeline. You said it's a 4-year deal. I'm going to blow your mind with Schottenheimer's timeline. Let's write that down. Shotty's contract. I'm going to show you also how this probably lines up with what they were asking Mike McCarthy to do. Kitty Boy said this is probably good for the Cowboys. Hopefully it works out. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. Kellen Moore said I ain't cheap. Yes. Santiago said DC is from Jason Garrett tree. So, let me take it from the top. So in everything that happened, Jerry already knew what he wanted. Jerry had a plan. Nobody likes the plan. Here is what Jerry's plan was. So the moment they lost the Green Bay game, let's do the timeline. The moment they lost the Green Bay game, they were out on Mike McCarthy. They were already out on Mike McCarthy the minute he lost the Green Bay game. They were absolutely out. So the plan was, okay, Mike McCarthy didn't do better than Kellen Moore when he got the playbook. So, but he got one more year left on his contract. We're not letting him sit at home and collect a paycheck. This is how the Cowboys think. There's no salary cap for coaches. If you didn't want Mike McCarthy, you should have cut him loose then. But let me tell you why they kept him. They didn't want to cut him loose because they didn't want him to sit at home and collect a paycheck. That's number one. So, number two, so bring him back, but don't run it back. Bring him back, but don't run it back. And if he can do more with less, because we're not giving him absolutely nothing. I mean, we're not going to do nothing. We're actually going to let people go. We're going to do absolutely nothing. And if Mike does more with less, then we'll have a conversation. But Mike did do more with less. The reality is Mike did more with less. The Cowboys were actually on the verge of playoff contention, as crazy as it sounds. I never thought they had a chance. But numerically, they started getting people's hopes up a little bit. Numerically. And some people's hopes were way up. Not mine. I just knew it wasn't going to happen. But Mike McCarthy did more with less. So when they set Mike McCarthy down, I hope all of this starts coming out. When they set Mike McCarthy down, see, people were lying. You don't sit down for 10 hours. You don't sit down for 10 hours, and then the straw that breaks the camel back is the number of years on the contract. That's a bold-faced lie. You're not going to give up a team if they say, hey, man, rather than 5, how about 4? So ask yourself. So Brian Schottenheimer takes the 4 years. Are they really 4 years? Let's see what he gets paid per year. Because where Mike McCarthy started balking on the Cowboys, and we don't even know the rest of the details, but we know this is unequivocally true. He started balking on what Jerry was talking about. 2 things in particular. The number of years on the contract. They didn't want 5. I'm sure they didn't want 2. And what they probably wanted was 4 years. But the reality is it's 3 years disguised as 4. 3 years disguised as 4. Because if you're not doing well by Dak's 3rd season, you go back and look at Dak's contract. They can get from under Dak Prescott's contract 4th year of the deal. And by that time, watch what I tell you. They're going to flip that switch on Dak Prescott's contract. They're going to kick all of that money down to those void years so that by the time they get to the 4th season of Dak Prescott's contract, and if he's not balling out or if they're not winning, guess what they get to do? Cut him. They'll get to cut him and save some money during that particular season, but they're still going to owe Dak Prescott money they're going to kick down the road. So it's really a 3 with a 4. But let's go to the other reason. I guarantee you this is what not only got to Mike McCarthy, this got to Kellen Moore too. Why does Jason Witten have to be on the staff? I'm just waiting any day now. They hit Mike McCarthy with Jason Witten. How much you bet they hit Kellen Moore with Jason Witten? Mike McCarthy didn't want to deal with the bull junk. Mike McCarthy risking not being in coaching again. Do y'all not understand? If Mike McCarthy does not get the job with the Saints, we will not see Mike McCarthy again for probably 2-3 years. Mike McCarthy, this is it. This league is looking for the young, hotshot, innovative coaches. Mike McCarthy is a relic. If he wants to coach, he'll either find himself in college or he'll be sitting on the couch or he'll be an analyst. Because Mike McCarthy's not going to just be an OC. I think he feels like that's beneath him. I would be surprised he would go to a team and just be the OC. But Mike McCarthy said, no, not dealing with the bull junk. Kellen Moore. He was the target after Mike McCarthy. Now it's starting to come out. Ed Water reported on it. The interview with Kellen Moore was not even 3 hours. You get a 3-hour window. They're saying Kellen Moore didn't even use barely an hour. What? They barely used an hour, if that, with Kellen Moore. Why? And I told y'all, everybody keep talking all crazy about Kellen Moore. Oh, he ain't this. He ain't got no identity. I'm going to listen to that stuff. Man, resume is speaking for itself. You tell me anything you want to. These people are smarter than us. There's a reason why he keeps getting interviewed for coaching jobs. Because he will be one of the new hotshot coaches in this league in the next 2 to 3 years. He go to the Super Bowl, he's the next Ben Johnson. He's already wrote his ticket. Book it. Kellen Moore, watch him over the next 2 games. If these next 2 games look good to great, Kellen Moore just punched his ticket. He Ben Johnson. He's the next Ben Johnson. For everybody who's talking bad about Kellen Moore, now you're going to have to explain to me, who will be hotter than Kellen Moore once he hits the Super Bowl? Who will be hotter? Kellen Moore said, hey, man, I got options. I don't have to put up this stuff again. I put up with it before, but I don't have to put up with it this time. I'm with a team that's winning. There's nothing like options, man. Let me tell you something. I done told you, I've been explaining this since the beginning. Everyone was talking about Dak Prescott when I first started this channel. And what did I say? You do not get $231 million unless you can go to the table and you can say, I got options. I got options, Jerry. Todd France sat down with Jerry Jones and said, don't sign Dak Prescott. We got options. And we will get $60 million if we want it. We got options. We got options that will even give another team discount rather than you if that team has a more promising roster than the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones, we got options. Who you going to get to replace Dak Prescott? They looked in college. They didn't see nothing coming. They looked in free agency. What, Sam Darnold? No. They looked in free agency. There was nothing. Cooper Rush, no comparison. They went for the wild card, Trey Lance. Let's see what Trey Lance has. They lost the negotiation because Trey Lance was not ready. When you got options, you can make people do some things. And if you don't make them do something, guess what you get to do? You get to walk away scot-free. I bet you Kellen Moore feels good. Let me tell you something. There's no greater revenge than success. I guarantee you. Kellen Moore told Dallas, thanks, but no thanks. I don't have to put up that stuff. Somebody's got to explain to me. And I didn't even understand. Mike Fisher says, who wouldn't want Jason Witten on their staff? Or what would be wrong with having Jason Witten on the staff? Why do I have to have him on the staff? Why do I have to have him on the staff? That's my question. If I'm the coach, if I'm coming in to be the coach, what if I don't want Jason Witten? I don't want an ex-football player, high school head coach, who I know you got as the coach in waiting. He's the head coach in waiting. Not on my time. I got options. Mike McCarthy, he took a risk. And we're going to see how it plays out. He's also in the running for the Saints job. We're going to see how it plays out. Because unlike Kellen Moore is going to be a head coach. Mike McCarthy, we may have seen the last of Mike McCarthy. At least for the next 2 to 3 years. People are not going for these older coaches as much as they used to. And the Super Bowl thing isn't enough. And if you're going to be an older coach, I think Pete Carroll set a precedent. You old? You're not getting a 5-year deal here. You're not getting a 5-year deal. You're going to get a 3-year deal with a 4-year option. How much you bet that's what Jerry Jones was offering Mike McCarthy? 3-year deal, 4th-year option. Now, why does that make sense? Dak Prescott, 3 years for sure. 4th year, we can cut him if we want to. Just walk away from the deal. Minimal hit against the cap, especially how big the cap will be by the time they get the Dak's 4th year of the contract. So I guarantee they wanted McCarthy on the same deal. Mike McCarthy said no. No, I'm not doing 3 with a 1-year option, which could actually turn into 2 years, and you just cut me and then pay for me to sit down on the 3rd year. Mike McCarthy said I'm not doing it. Kellen Moore, I guarantee you, I'm not doing that. I'm young. Man, I'm 37 years old. I don't have to sign a limited contract of a 3-year with a 4th year option. I don't have to sign short contracts. I'm the new hotshot coach, regardless of what people are saying. Y'all don't understand something. These people on these teams, they're looking at tape. Let's not insult these teams. They're looking at tape. They're looking at statistics. They're asking people about these people. They're doing their due diligence, whether we like it or not. They're doing their due diligence. They're not out here listening they're not out here listening to me. No, they're listening to football people. And football people are telling football people, hey, this dude, Kellen Moore, he one of them. He's one of them. Regardless of what we're saying, he's one of them. They're looking at his track record. Dak Prescott, check. Justin Herbert, well, he's been like that with 3 coaches, so we can't blame it on Kellen Moore. Wait, Kellen Moore with the Philadelphia Eagles, check. Kellen Moore said, I don't have to do this. The Cowboys didn't walk away from Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore walked away from the Cowboys. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? Kellen Moore walked away from the Cowboys. He didn't want it. Did not tell y'all. Nobody's hearing what I'm saying. On January the 17th, the Cowboys were gung-ho about interviewing Kellen Moore. And everybody was reporting the consensus is the favorite is Kellen Moore. They interviewed Kellen Moore. Now we're finding out the rest of the story. The interview didn't last long, and the interview process flipped. And all of a sudden on Tuesday, after that 17th, on that Tuesday, Brian Schottenheimer rises to the top. The alternative. And I did a video today about why Stephen Jones wants Brian Schottenheimer. Cheap, controllable, and comfortability. He's cheap. What kind of deal you think they're going to get Shotty? Man, he has no head coach experience. What do you think they're giving him? They're going to get them a head coach and OC more than likely. They're going to get them a head coach and OC. for the price of a high-paid OC rather than a low-paid head coach. This is Stephen Jones. He loves to get more for less. He wants you to do more with less. He wants to get more for less. So we got him cheap. Now we got control. What Brian Schottenheimer going to tell the Cowboys? What is he going to tell them? Is he going to tell them what he wants, what he don't want? What are he going to tell them? No. They're actually telling him what they want. They have control of Schotty. First year head coach, there's nothing Schotty could do. They have control of Schotty. He cheap. He's controllable. Oh, and let's get to the third one. Comfortability. You know what that means? He's comfortable for the Joneses. Schotty ain't going to be bucking. Schotty not going to buck like a bull. No. Comfortability. He's been around the facility for 2 years. Comfortability. Real nice guy. Comfortability. Players like him. Comfortability. Coaches like him. Comfortability. And the one that really get me, Dak Prescott likes him. Comfortability. They got the 3 C's. Mike McCarthy said, I'm tired of the bull junk. I'm not doing it no more. Kellen Moore rolled up in here all young and pretty, said, put his feet up on the furniture. I got options. You remember how you did me? I got options. I would love to know what Kellen Moore's agent was saying. We got options, Jerry. You're not getting Kellen Moore in here for no $4 million, Jerry. And you're not going to make him take Jason Witten, Jerry. And any other thing you're talking about with this tolerance of ambiguity. 3 years with a 4th-year option. 4 years. No, Kellen ain't taking none of that stuff. This is what Kellen wants. Take it or leave it. Interview over. Kellen Moore walked away from that thing, and I bet you he's smiling all the way. I bet you Kellen Moore is smiling in the ear. Kellen Moore, same thing I said about Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy should have played the game like Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson played the game the way you need to play it. You stay on that team. You got a really good team. It's loaded. Why leave it? Stay on that team. Keep winning. It don't matter if it's you or not. If you got good players, basic plays look good with great players. Basic plays look good with great players. Now, you can make average players look good with great plays sometimes, but I'd rather be on the other end. I'd rather have the great players to where I can run a very basic game plan and destroy teams and get all the credit in the world. Ben Johnson played the game, and he jumped off the ship right when he saw, okay, I think we've done all we can do. I think we've done all we can do with Jared Goff, and there's 3 more years of Jared Goff, and I don't know if there's going to be another opportunity like the Chicago Bears. Thank y'all, I'm out this ship. Kellen Moore should do the same thing. Stay with the Eagles while the getting is good. If the Saints don't hire Kellen Moore, he'll be fine. Stay with the Eagles. Keep learning. Keep getting the experience, and go and win again. Just keep winning. He going to punch the ticket. Kellen Moore said, I didn't have to take this. Didn't have to take it. And he didn't. Brian Schottenheimer was the alternative. He was never the plan. And the reason why I know he was the alternative, because his name didn't come up until after Kellen Moore. Brian Schottenheimer, if he was the plan, they'd have beeline towards him. It'd have never been no, okay, let's do this. No. They're going to beeline towards him, but he wasn't the plan. He's the alternative. He wasn't the primary part of the plan. He was the alternative. And so the Cowboys did something that we may not like. They got the bird in the hand. They got the bird in the hand while trying to get the bird in the bush. How many other people will do that? Mike McCarthy said, I'm not going to do it. They got Brian Schottenheimer's they got Schottenheimer ready to hire. Bird in the hand. Okay, the dream. I got another video I released. Deion Sanders was the dream for the Cowboys. He was never the plan. He was the dream. And the reason why I say he was the dream, because most people don't dream and then all of a sudden they say, well, I'm going to accomplish my dreams. No, the plan is things that are achievable. They never thought that they could get Deion realistically. But if they were going to get Deion, I guarantee you Steven told Jerry everything you're going to have to give up to get Deion. Colorado buyout, big contract, bring on the staff, bring on the stars. I mean, his presence is going to be insane. And Deion's going to expect to win. That's the worst part of it for the Joneses. That's called accountability. The Deion thing was a ploy. So that right there was never happening. Now, let's follow the Pete Carroll incident. And then I'm going to read some of your comments. Let's go to the Pete Carroll incident. I told y'all last night, Pete Carroll didn't fit the profile. Pete Carroll didn't fit the profile. You know how I knew he didn't fit the profile? For the very reason why I said last night. Pete Carroll, old dog, elder statesman, very buttoned up, very professional. He knows how to do things. Before the season was up, Pete Carroll sent a note out to all 32 teams. I'm interested in coaching again. He's putting everybody on notice. I want to be a coach again. Now he gets to see through the feelers, through people throughout the industry, through his agent, who could be interested. People start whispering, Pete Carroll is back. He's coming back to coaching. Okay, who's responding? Watch this part. Pete Carroll must have been hearing something that he wanted to hear. You know why? Phase 2. Guess what we started hearing? Pete Carroll is putting together the staff. I knew then he wasn't going to the Cowboys. The Cowboys don't let you bring on your own staff. Again, they may let you bring a couple of your homeboys, one of your homegirls. They're not letting you bring a staff. They already have Brian Schottenheimer's staff. Mike Zimmer, out. He out of here. Now, I don't think he's out of here because we ran him out of here. Mike Zimmer did this for Jerry as a favor. Mike did this for Jerry as a favor. So now the favor is up. Now, the one thing that Brian Broaddus talked about, and I kind of agree. Why didn't Jerry consider Mike Zimmer as a head coach? Who wouldn't have wanted Mike Zimmer over Brian Schottenheimer, Kellen Moore, anybody else? Pete Carroll. Who wouldn't have wanted Mike Zimmer over all those people? Who wouldn't have wanted him? If the Cowboys would have announced Mike Zimmer, I wouldn't even blink. I would have said, I see exactly why. I see exactly why. I think Mike Zimmer could have did wonders with Dak Prescott. I think Teddy Bridgewater, when Zimmer was in Minnesota, Teddy was not quite good enough to do what they were trying to do. You pair up Zimmer with Dak in a good offense, and you could have kept Schottenheimer and just let him be I would have been more comfortable with Zimmer being the head coach and the DC and Schottenheimer being the OC than Schottenheimer being the HC and the OC, and now we brought on Eberflus. But I think he's going to be a great defense coordinator. Some of these guys are just better coordinators than they are head coaches. So I think that's a good move. But I would have liked for them to give Zim an interview. But it's water under the bridge now. Zim only did this as a favor for Jerry, so Zim ain't tripping. Zim got this new supermodel fiance about to be wife. Zimmer is going to ride off into the sunset and live life. Oh, and by the way, as a side note, Air Harris is out. Wow. I thought they were going to give Al Harris an opportunity, but now he's with the Bears. So, Pete Carroll. Everybody started getting excited when they called Pete Carroll. Do you not understand why they call Pete Carroll? The Raiders thing and Pete Carroll, I guarantee you that was already materializing in the background. This is the reason why Pete Carroll is moving the way he's moving. He knows what's going on. He's watching the state of affairs. Tom Brady is over there, and they're letting Tom Brady do a whole lot of things. Tom Brady is looking at how everything is materializing. And so for Tom Brady in the Las Vegas Raiders, Pete Carroll fitted exactly what they wanted. 3-year, 1-year club option. Perfect contract. So the next phase of this, let's see if Tom Brady, and I don't think he's going to be able to do it, but if Tom Brady figures out a way to get get Shedeur Sanders as the quarterback, which is what I think he wanted all along. I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think anyone else is going to pass up on him, but stranger things have happened. If he can figure out a way to get Shedeur Sanders, which I will not be surprised if the Las Vegas Raiders try to figure out a way to get to Shedeur, because if they can get Shedeur, I said this about Antonio Pierce when I saw Deion Sanders at some function asking Antonio Pierce, draft both of my sons. And I said, and Antonio Pierce don't even understand what Deion is saying. Because if Antonio Pierce would have stayed on this team, drafted Deion's sons, Deion would have took his place in 3 years. Deion's road to the NFL is going to be Shedeur Sanders. That's the way I think Deion is going to get to the NFL. Shedeur will get on a team, and if that team doesn't do well, they're going to be willing to give Deion a chance to come to that team. That's how I think he's going to get in there. I could be wrong. But let me read some of your comments, and then I'm going to get down to Dak Prescott. Now, Dak Prescott, my man, I'm a little bit perturbed with the whole Dak Prescott thing. CB said no teams want Deion's. He's trash. I don't agree with you on that. I think the issue with Deion is I think there's a lot of teams that don't think they can handle Deion. But Las Vegas, Tom Brady, him and Deion are good buddies. No, Tom Brady could handle Tom Brady, the Las Vegas Raiders, they could handle Deion Sanders. It wouldn't be a problem. David Everett said, I heard that Leslie Frazier will be the secondary coach. That won't be bad either. And you think about this, David Everett. I said this during the season. Mike Zimmer, once he started getting some health on the defense, Mike Zimmer's defense, he started really doing a good job. What was betraying Mike Zimmer the whole season almost? Secondary play. The secondary play was very inconsistent, but it got better down the stretch. So I'm not surprised that they didn't bring Al Harris back based on that, but I still would have kept Al Harris. So Leslie Frazier coming here, I think that'd be a good thing. Purple Soul, honestly, this is expected, but I'm not upset. Me neither. This is the first time that Jerry has hired someone other than a retread. Scotty's 51 and fits on the Dak's timeline. Yeah. Let me fit in Dak Prescott, Daniel. Brian Schottenheimer is a Dak Prescott hire. Brian Schottenheimer is also a Dak Prescott hire. Don't think for a moment they didn't ask Dak Prescott about Brian Schottenheimer. And some of the things that are coming out about Dak Prescott and what he said about Brian Schottenheimer. He'll be ready. He'll be ready. They were getting feedback from the players. We like Shotty. This is a Dak Prescott hire. This is a team hire. And it leads me to understand something about this team. They were not looking. It wasn't so much Mike McCarthy. I told y'all it wasn't his coaching. He was a father figure. But it was also how he ran things. And so it wasn't so much about McCarthy. This team didn't want change. And Schottenheimer represents the fact that there's not going to be any change. There's not going to be any change, as in what I mean, and what I mean by change, No, Schotty's going to change some things. I'm going to explain some things about Schotty for y'all to get, for all of y'all who feeling kind of bad about Schotty. I'm going to give you some reasons about Brian Schottenheimer why we might ought to be excited. We actually might ought to be excited about Brian Schottenheimer and not be doom and gloom. Stop listening to the media. They're dumb. I'm just being honest with you. They're dumb. The media says a whole lot of things for clicks and likes. They're not doing any research. They have someone handing them a piece of paper. They don't know heads or tails. They're just giving you reactions like social media, like they're on Instagram or something. Stop listening to the media. Brian Schottenheimer, yeah, he's not a sexy pick. Be careful with Brian Schottenheimer. Brian Schottenheimer may be that girl that's a 6. And then you start going out with her. That dude who is 6, you start going out with him, and then you start seeing some of the things, some of their ideas, and then you say, hey, you know what? Rather than you building me, how about we build each other? Then y'all build something together, and then that 6 turns into an 8. Brian Schottenheimer may be that very coach. CB said Dak's job just got a heck of a lot easier. It did. And I think his job not only may have gotten easier, CB, I think his job potentially may have gotten better. And I'm going to explain to you why in a moment. AK, this is the most positivity I've seen about Kellen Moore. Man, you know, it is what it is. I can't do what other people do. I can't disconnect a man from the facts. I can't disconnect him like that. I'm not saying Kellen Moore is the best OC in the league, but you better believe, why is he getting interviews? Some glass half empty, the glass is either half empty or half full. Someone says, yeah, why does he keep getting interviews and he don't get hired? Man, the dude was 34 when he started getting interviews. He was 34. He's 37. He's right around the age when they finally start giving these young hotshot coaches a chance. 38. 38. He will be. I'm telling you, he's going to be a head coach. Whether he crashes and burns, I don't know. But if you give him players, he'll be just like any other OC. Great players, I'm telling you, great players make basic plays look extremely good. They'll even make some of your dumb kooky plays look good. That's what great players do. That's why people clamor for great players. No one's going out there saying, hey, man, well, I say that other than the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, we do this sometime. I mean, we'll get you top heavy in the moment, and then we'll go and scrape the bottom of the barrel for the rest of the players. Yeah, let's go sign a $231 million quarterback and only give him one wide receiver. Everybody else, we get them from Home Depot. Lee said, I don't want Deion, I didn't want Deion, but I don't think Deion wanted Witten. I don't either. And I don't think Kellen Moore wanted Witten either. I said Brian would be the coach days ago. Well, the moment he became the alternative and the way they escalated it, you knew it was going to be inevitable if the Kellen Moore thing didn't materialize. I think Kellen Moore shut the door on him quick and shocked him. I believe Kellen Moore might have shocked him more than he might have shocked him more than Mike McCarthy, which I don't think Mike McCarthy shocked him. What's going on, Cowboys? 5 rings, man, long time no see. I don't think McCarthy shocked him. Come on, they kind of knew that was an insult to bring this guy. Man, okay, we're gonna give you 3-year with a 4th-year club option or whatever nonsense they were telling Mike. Man, that's for you to be saying all the things you said about Mike McCarthy and then ask this man to bow down. Stop it. CB said nobody in the NFL wanted Deion. Jerry did. Jerry wanted him. I think Tom Brady would take him too. I think Tom Brady would take him. They're very good friends. Keith Beacham said Pete got to pick his staff. Picked him before he got the team. Picked him before he got the team, Keith Beacham. It's exactly what he did. Picked him before he got the team. Pete Carroll, again. People got it wrong about Pete Carroll. Let me make sure before I read this super chat. Maybe I didn't mention it. People don't think Jerry called Pete Carroll. What do y'all think he called Pete Carroll for? Do we really think Jerry Jones called Pete Carroll to say, hey, Pete, I heard you got a staff? Yeah, I heard you got a staff. You want to come coach the Cowboys? Stop it. Jerry didn't want no parts of Pete Carroll. If Pete Carroll puts together a staff, he's not coming to your team without his staff. Jerry didn't call Pete Carroll about the staff. Jerry Jones called Pete Carroll about one Brian Schottenheimer. People don't understand. I told y'all the other day about Pete Carroll. I was not believing any part of Pete Carroll. That was the biggest joke to me of all. Pete Carroll did not fit the MO. He didn't fit the profile. He's putting together a staff. No, he was not coming here to be the coach. Hey, Pete, what about Brian? Tell us about Brian Schottenheimer. Now, word on the street says, y'all ought to be a little bit more excited about Brian Schottenheimer. Y'all know why Pete Carroll actually let go of Brian Schottenheimer? Brian Schottenheimer was too aggressive for Pete Carroll. What? Yeah, he was too aggressive. Brian Schottenheimer was too aggressive for Pete Carroll. He was too aggressive. Brian Schottenheimer was too aggressive for Pete Carroll. That's insanity to me. Yeah, he's too aggressive. Pete Carroll, if you think about it, Pete Carroll is one of them people. Pete ain't like a Dan Quinn or Dan Campbell. Pete Carroll, 3rd and 3/4. Wait a minute, it's not 3rd and a yard. No, 3rd and 3/4. We're on the 35-yard line, 3rd and 3/4. 4th and 3/4. We're on the 35-yard line. Pete, what do you want to do? You want us to stay on the field? Heck no, bring in the field goals. Bring in the field goal unit. Pete Carroll old school. Hey, bring in that field goal unit. Pete Carroll don't mind winning 13-10, 12-9. He don't mind winning those type of games. No. Brian Schottenheimer, what OC? Mike McCarthy says, well, Kellen Moore wants to run up the scoreboard. What offensive coordinator does not want to run up the scoreboard? I couldn't be an OC. Give me some players. I don't care who I'm playing. I don't care if I'm playing a Pee-wee league on a Saturday with a professional team and everybody says, okay, man, take it easy on him. You may take it easy on him. I'm not going to kick them little kids all over the field and hurt them, but I bet you this, they're not winning the game. They're not winning the game. I'm here to win the game. I want to run up the score. I don't care who I'm playing. I'm the OC, man. This is my resume. The scores, the wins are the resume of the OC. It don't matter contextually about who the players are. Because at the end of the day, people go and say, well, how many wins do you have? Wins matter to an OC. Yards matter to an OC. Points on the board matters to an OC. Because when people look for an OC, they're saying all of these things. How many points? How many games? And then they start looking at, okay, what's the play design? What's his philosophy or identity? I guess some people may be saying, okay, what does he like to do? Brian Schottenheimer does have, he has a weird identity. And I'm going to identify that in a moment. I'm going to tell you what his identity is. And it's very weird. And this is one of the reasons, another reason why we might ought to be excited about Brian Schottenheimer when I tell you his identity. Gee, now we can fix other needs on the coaching staff with Schottenheimer. Yeah, they've already done the defense. I think this Matt Eberflus, I think is that what his name is. From all intents and purposes, from what everyone is saying, Matt's going to be great as a defense coordinator. Jose Corvedo, what's going on? He said, it's almost like Jerry Jones is a fan of every team in the NFC except the one he owns. Boy, you said a mouthful there. He's been disappointing us Cowboy fans. I'm going to tell you something too, Jose. I think we may not want to admit it. I actually think we may be watching a team that Jerry Jones may be a figurehead of more than he's really making these moves. I think there are some moves that Stephen Jones has stopped Jerry from making. Bad ones and some good ones. Stephen Jones is the worst. With Stephen Jones, it's all about the dollar. JS Tube, he says, to be successful, the front office and coaches have to see eye to eye. That translates to the field. And suddenly we start practicing and playing better. Now, JS Tube, I'm just going to be honest. I know this might not sit well with some people. This is exactly what you're about to get with Brian Schottenheimer. This is what you're about to get with Brian Schottenheimer. Brian Schottenheimer is not Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy, huge ego, chip on his shoulder. You could tell towards the end when Mike McCarthy started talking about himself. Mike McCarthy was saying, I know how to build football teams. He said one time the good ones, they compete in the playoffs every single season. He's talking about himself. He got a Super Bowl ring on the wall. Mike McCarthy got some accomplishments. That makes his ego large. Not to mention the way the Joneses was talking him up. I told y'all before, this is why I don't let people build me up. I don't let people build me up. Because if they build me up, they get to tear me down. I refuse to give you that opportunity. I know who I am. I know what I can do. You don't have to tell me, man, you bring a lot to the table. You don't have to tell me because I'm bringing it to the table. You looking at it, but I know what I bring to the table. You know what you are. So you don't let your ego get you in situations. Mike McCarthy was paranoid of Dan Quinn. He was paranoid of Amari Cooper. Dan Quinn couldn't lock in on this team because Dan Quinn wanted to get the play sheet. After he knew what it was when he came on, he wanted the play sheet. Him and Kellen Moore, they're clashing. Him and Dak Prescott, and I don't think him and Dak Prescott were necessarily clashing as in maybe not liking each other, but Dak Prescott, him and Kellen Moore putting up video game numbers. Dak Prescott is vouching for Kellen Moore. I'm sure Mike didn't like all that. Mike could never lock in on this team. Mike McCarthy never locked in on this team. Now we're finding out in 2023, Schottenheimer was the liaison between the front office, the players, and Mike McCarthy, getting Mike McCarthy to do some things that Dak could be successful with, pull some things from other teams in the league, convince Mike McCarthy to do more motion, some of the things that Kellen Moore was already doing. He convinced him to start doing some of those things. This is Brian Schottenheimer. The one thing, at least as far as I can tell, you're not going to have to worry about this with Brian Schottenheimer. All of the discord. You're not going to have to worry about all the strife. You're not going to have to worry about all the ego and all this old nonsense stuff. With Brian Schottenheimer, you're not going to have to worry about that. Brian Schottenheimer is going to, one of the things, and I'm going to tell you some more. Let me read some more comments. There are some characteristics about Brian Schottenheimer. Rather than us listening to the media, there are some things we need to be excited about with Brian Schottenheimer. For sure. For sure. You said, I wonder if Kellen read the comments. Stanchio reacts, he says, in no championship pedigree. Just wait. We're gonna get to that. No Super Bowl winning coach has gone to another team and won another Super Bowl. Yes, sir. Somebody else I saw said that today, Kitty boy. That's a great observation you're making, too. Shotty ain't the favorite pick, but he's a good pick. Kitty boy. Let me read this super chat. Hold on a second. Super chats. I'm going to let everybody know, whoever does super chats. I will be releasing your super chats as videos on the channel. So I'll be shouting you out as a video. You're going to get your own individual video when I answer the super chat. Byron Joe David. David. Oh, I'm sorry, Byron Joe David. Super chat for $1.99. Appreciate you. He said, Saquon made Kellen look good. I'll say this, Byron Joe. I said this last night. Don't hate the player. Hate the game. How good did Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, Alvin Harper, that whole offensive line, Russell Maryland, Larry Allen, all those dudes on that offense, Darren Woodson. You think about all the offense and the defense, everything that the Cowboys had. How good do you think that made North Turner look? How good did it make Ernie Zampese look when he took over for North Turner? Man, them Jimmies and Joes, Byron, them Jimmies and Joes matter. They matter. And I tell you this, man, I don't know. I'm just not an egotistical person like this. Byron Joe David. If you on my team and you can make me look good, guess what I'm going to do? Me and you both going to win. We both going to win. Because if you can run that rock, I'm going to make sure they hang you that rock. I'm going to let you run for 200 yards sometimes per game. I'm going to let you do everything you can do. You know why? Because you're going to make me look good. Why don't I want you to make me look good? You better believe I want you to make me look good. We act like, where I'm laughing, Byron Joe David, we act like this is a bad thing. That you got a player like Saquon Barkley and he's making you look good. Hey, you know what? Keep on making me look good. Because when I get this head coaching job, and when they start paying me like $8 million a year, $10 million a year, Saquon Barkley, I will literally be sending your entire family on a vacation for the next 5 years. Please make me look good. Please. I don't know why we act like this is a bad thing. Yeah, man, the players made him look good. That's what, thank you. Is that not what we get the players for? We want the players to make us look good. That's what we want. Because I'm telling you, if you don't have players that make your plays look good, riddle me this. What's the chances of average to below average? And when I say average to below average, I'm talking about NFL standards. Even the below average guys are better than most of us. But when I say on the NFL level, how likely is it that the average to below average players on a consistent basis in the moment, you're going to call a great play in the moment, will you fail or succeed? I want players making me look good. I don't know where we from. I want players making me look good. Give me all the players. Hey, man, give me all the players. Give me all of them. Hey, man, load my team up. Because, boy, they're about to make my game plan look way better than it. Yes, they're going to make my game plan look better than it is. My game plan with elite players looks better than it does with average players. I don't know what we're talking about. Don't hate the player. Hate the game. Troy Aikman. I keep talking about Troy Aikman. I'm not saying Troy Aikman wasn't great. Go back and look at his stats. Go back and look at him before he got the super team around him. I'm not hating Troy Aikman. If they're going to put a super team around you, you better win too. You better win, and you better win big. And when they call your number, there'll be a time when they say, hey, now I'm going to call your number because they've decided today they're going to load the box up and stop the run. So now we're going to need you to eat on play action. Got you. You call my number, I got you. But if you're not calling my number, I'm still going to win because I'm on the team. It's a team sport. I'm going to win. There's nothing wrong with having players, Byron David. I understand what you're saying, but there's nothing wrong with players. Kellen Moore is ecstatic right now. And someone mentioned Nick Sirianni had to get on him early in the season. I know why they had to get on him. Because he's an ex-quarterback. He threw it all over the field at Boise State. Go look at this dude tape. Man, Kellen Moore blow your mind. But, I don't, that stuff doesn't always translate to the NFL, especially when you're talking about playing with a team like Boise State. They're not playing those big-time teams. And when you play those big-time teams, that really is the measure of what you're truly going to be, because those are the more of the NFL-type teams. But he threw it all over the field. So it's no wonder in his scheme or his identity, people say that he doesn't have. Well, I can tell you this. He loves to throw the ball. He loves to throw the ball. Why? He's an ex-quarterback. He's an ex-quarterback. He loves to throw the doggone ball. And when he gets a quarterback that can throw the ball, you look out. He going all over the place. He did it with Dak. Dak made Kellen Moore look good too, because he didn't look nowhere near as good with Justin Herbert as much as people talk about Justin Herbert. He thought, well, I don't even think he thought, he loves to throw the ball. Hey, I'm gonna make Jalen Hurts throw the ball. Nick Sirianni said, no, you're not. Nick Sirianni said, no, we're not gonna do that here. Because Jalen's not built like that. Jalen is not a consistent 30 to 40 pass game quarterback. You're not going to ask Jalen Hurts to do that 6, 7, 8 games at a time. No, you ask Jalen Hurts to do that 1 to 2, one time every 4 to 5 games. He may need it. I'm thinking he could need it this weekend, but I would say he should just ground and pound. Just ground and pound it out and beat the Commanders and just break their will and end them. But yeah, I appreciate that comment there, Byron David. But hey, there's nothing wrong with players making you look good, man. That's what you get them for. Alex, appreciate that $4.99 super chat. Alex said, Shotty is known to run the ball. Yes. Something this team needs. Yes. A good running game behind Dak will make a huge impact. Glad to see the channel growing, G. Yes, sir, man. To God be the glory. And I appreciate all y'all rocking with me, man. Y'all helping it grow. Y'all pushing it out there by coming on and stuff like this, and just super chats and things of that nature. But, hey, Alex, I've shown it already. All people have to do is go back and look at Shotty's history. This man typically is top 10 or better at running the ball. He top 10 or better. And one thing he did for Russell Wilson, again, Russell Wilson should still be sending Brian Schottenheimer Christmas gifts. It is none other than Brian Schottenheimer that got him that contract with Denver because of the performance he had in the last 3 seasons with one Brian Schottenheimer. That's why Denver paid him all that money. Problem is, not everybody can translate into every system. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think they gave Russ a chance. Now, I'm not saying that Russ is on the decline. There's no doubt about it. Russell Wilson is on the decline. But you have to understand, and they should have understood what they had with Russell Wilson. And that's why I give Brian Schottenheimer some credit where other people don't, because Brian Schottenheimer, Alex, he knew exactly what he knew exactly what Russell Wilson was. And he played to his strengths. All that let Russ cook, that's the Brian Schottenheimer era, if I'm not mistaken. So there are some things that once we stop listening to the media, I think there are some things that we can be excited about with Brian Schottenheimer. I think Brian Schottenheimer, contrary to what people think, he knows what he is. He knows what it is. He knows what this is. He knows exactly what Jerry is doing. But what Brian Schottenheimer is going to do, he's going to take advantage, or this is what I think he's going to do, because this is what I would do. If I'm gonna coach for Jerry, I gotta get it. I know what it is. He wants to. He wants to control me. He's going to do this. He's going to get my staff. Okay, that's fine. I know what it is. But I want to get this head coaching job. I'm only 51 years old. All I have to do is weather the storm. Come in here and do what I do. Don't worry about what Jerry doing. Do what I do. Use whatever influence I can to get whatever player. Schottenheimer's got their ear. They've liked what they've heard about with Schottenheimer for the last couple of days. They like what they've heard. So Schottenheimer has their ear. So he needs to do whatever he can to influence the draft, and get Dak players and everything else, because he is going to be an advocate for the players. That's one thing you're going to like about Brian Schottenheimer too. He's going to be able, or he will try to get Dak Prescott whatever he needs. And he's going to make a game plan that is going to fit what Dak Prescott does. Y'all better get excited about Brian Schottenheimer. I'm telling you. You ever seen a woman or a man, and you see a woman, you be like, oh man, she ain't all that. And then all of a sudden you see in like some she been wearing like baggy sweats and hair thrown up in the bun and shades on, and everybody's like, oh, she ain't all that. Then all of a sudden you see her in like when she's going to work or dressed up, and you go like, wait a minute, hold on a second. You just wait. Schottenheimer has a perfect opportunity to make a name for himself. Yeah, I appreciate that. That's a great comment there, Alex. Stambino reacts. I like that name. He said, Shotty about to bring an LT in like his dad. Oh, man, you talking about LaDainian Tomlinson, like his dad had. Stambino reacts. This is another reason why we ought to be excited about one Brian Schottenheimer. If Ashton Genty is on that board, this man is going to beg the Joneses to get Ashton Genty. If Ashton Genty is gone, which I think he could be gone, if Amarion Hampton is there, he's going to beg for Amarion Hampton. This man is going to beg them. And I'm telling y'all might be shocked, but this dude might be the very dude that Jerry, because of all the backlash, because once, it doesn't matter now if it's Steven or not, right? It doesn't matter if it's Steven or not, Stambino reacts. It doesn't matter, right? So, now the whole organization has to get behind it. And we need to understand as fans, we need to get behind it too. We got to stop this, what we've been doing for the last few years. We got to stop tearing down the quarterback. Okay, you can say he's not elite. You can make any argument you want. I'm not going to argue Dak Prescott tonight. But you have to understand, but that's your quarterback. That's our quarterback. We can't help the media tear him down. Brian Schottenheimer is our coach. We can't help the media tear down Brian Schottenheimer, and we haven't even seen what he's going to do yet. Let's see what he's going to do. Because I got a feeling this may be the very coach, because of the backlash that Jerry says and Steven says, we're going to show y'all. We're going to show y'all just how good Brian Schottenheimer is. And the way we're going to show y'all, as Byron Joe David said, Saquon made Kellen Moore look good. Well, what better way to make Shotty look good? Go in there and get Ashton Genty. Go in there and get Mac Millen from Arizona. Go in there and make sure in this draft you get this man some show enough players. And when the season open up in March, you even go in free agency and say, hey man, we got about 30. We got 30 free agents, some unrestricted, some restricted. So let's decide on who we're going to keep. And then the ones we let go, let's make sure some same grade. But in some of these other positions, let's go up a grade. Because we got to prove we're right. Now we have to prove, Stambino. Now we have to prove we're right about Brian Schottenheimer. I'm telling y'all, man, Brian Schottenheimer, everybody hating about this Brian Schottenheimer thing. Man, this may be one of the best things that's happened to us in years. And you think about it. Man, there's no better way to come into a job than to come into a job with no expectations. No one's expecting him to win. He's going to shock us. I'm telling you. I believe that he's going to shock us, because I think he's going to do some things, some of the very things we've been complaining about. This joker going to come in and do it. He's going to come in and he's going to do some things, and I guarantee you folks going to change their whole tune on this dude probably around game number 7 or 8. I'm not mad at the hire. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. You target who you want. You target who you want. But you also make sure what's the alternative. Y'all remember what I told y'all about Mike McCarthy? Everybody was in their feelings. Oh, the Cowboys didn't let the Chicago Bears interview Mike McCarthy. If they wanted Mike McCarthy, everybody who they interviewed before Mike McCarthy were the alternatives. If Mike McCarthy is the pick, it's his job to lose. If Mike McCarthy is the target, the alternatives don't get the job. The alternatives become considered when he doesn't take the job. Mike McCarthy didn't take the job. Kellen Moore, the target, didn't take the job. But the Cowboys did something smart that we're not giving them credit for. Okay, we interviewed Kellen Moore. He shut the door on us. People were even saying that Robert Saleh said that if the Jaguars offered him the job, he would take it over the Cowboys. Okay, hey man, we need to get an alternative. And what does Jerry always say? We want someone who wants to be here. Brian Schottenheimer. He wants to be here. One of the worst things that people do in relationships, they chase the people who don't want them. People got this bad in relationships. This woman, she's always chasing this dude that don't want her. He's just using her up. He's in the streets using her up. Then there's this dude. He's chasing this woman. All she wanting for is his money. Chasing. And then them same people will have somebody sitting right in front of them trying to get a date, trying to be friends. And then even if they're not getting dates with them, they're there for them. They're comforting them in times of need. They'll help them when they need things, and they'll just brush that person to the side. No. The best thing you can do, you be with the one that you be with the one that wants to be with you. And Brian Schottenheimer wants to be with the Cowboys. He wants to be with the Cowboys. Can't hate on him. Jonathan Tippett said maybe Jerry Jones should be the head coach of our beloved Cowboys because he spends most of the time. I said the same thing last night and doesn't give the head coach any room to do their job properly. Jerry builds his team, Jonathan. He builds his team to where he is the head coach because his teams is like they're separated. But I'm going to tell you something about Brian Schottenheimer. I'm about to get into the characteristics of Brian Schottenheimer. I'm going to read a couple of more comments. I'm going to tell you something about Brian Schottenheimer. Y'all, I'm telling you, we might ought to be excited about Brian Schottenheimer. You know what he does well? He builds cultures. He builds relationships on teams well. Brian Schottenheimer has worked on both sides of the ball, they reported. He may be the very one who can actually bring this team together in spite of Jerry Jones. And it seems like to me, he's done that in some form or fashion. And so this is maybe another reason why some of these players are cutting for him. Let me read a couple more comments. Cowboys 5 rings. Yeah, Jay Novacek. Yeah, he had players, man. Eric Williams. Hey, I'm telling you, I don't mind players making me look good. Keith Beacham. Saquon wasn't putting up these numbers in New York. Stop telling the truth, Keith Beacham. Stop telling the truth. There are so many things that go into the play of this. That's why I said, Keith Beacham, I can't separate. You just made a point. I hadn't made that point. Look at Saquon in New York. Look at him in Philly. Look at him in Philly. And I know he's got better players around him. There's so much context. That's why you can't disconnect people from these statistics. Yes, Wilson Santiago, Nate Newton. I mean, man, when you got players, they make you look good. Michael Irvin is going to be Midnight Cowboy, what's up? Yeah, he going to be ticked off. But watch what I tell you. Mike going to change his tune. Let me tell you about Michael Irvin. He loved this team. He going to fall in line. He'll be man for a while. He going to fall in line. Yeah, 5 rings. Stepnoski. Yes, sir. Yeah, he going to fall in line. Johnny Woods, y'all going to have to convince me on this hire. Okay, I'm going to try to do the best I can. I'm about to make my best effort here in just a moment. Wilson, no, I'm not convinced. We've been down this road before. All right, I'm gonna give y'all my best shot. Shotty, let's see. This man stuff always messes me up. I had to look at this the other day. I did a graph on this. Okay. You make sure I know what you're saying here. Okay. Shotty is greater than Kellen Moore. You know what? Cowboys fan for life. We may very well be saying this pretty soon. Y'all think that Dak Prescott had a great year with Mike McCarthy, which Schottenheimer was partially responsible for that? Wait till y'all see what Dak Prescott looks like with Marty Schottenheimer. I mean, with Brian Schottenheimer. You're going to be shocked. You're going to be shocked when you see what Dak Prescott looks like with Brian Schottenheimer. At least Schotty will run the damn ball. Maybe Dallas will have a better chance of keeping Dowdle, Turpin, Aubrey, and maybe Trey Lance too. I'm sure the Joneses will have a final say on that. I'm not sure about Trey Lance. There may be a market for Trey Lance. I'm not going to be surprised on that, Gabe. But they have to keep Brent Aubrey. They need to stop playing. Sign him now. Turpin, sign him. Dowdle, probably going to let him walk. And the reason why they're probably going to let Dowdle walk, this draft is so full of running backs. You could literally get one in the first and one in the sixth, and they'll probably be still good. You could probably replace Dowdle, especially with the way the offensive line is going to look as they have now gotten a little bit more continuity. And Schottenheimer may even help with some of those things. Five Rings says, if Brian is anything like his dad, Marty, oh, man. Hey, we'll be good in the regular season if he anything like his dad. But I think it's going to be better, and I'm going to tell you why in just a moment. Robert says, so we promoted a guy no one inquired about or interviewed to be a head coach of a storied franchise worth $11 billion. Well, I think at the same time, Robert, at the same time, we think about this happened because Stephen Jones is cheap. I'm with you. I think we should have actually went out and got I think we should have basically tried to get the best coach available. I think we probably should have tried to get Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn. Troy Dudley, got to be smart enough to let the players make you look good. Yes, sir. I'm with you on that, too. Dallas has the worst coach in the NFL by their own design. We're going to see, but I'm going to show you some stuff in a moment here. If upper management ain't giving 100%, 311 said, why should our star players give their 100%, risking serious injury for a sinking ship of a team? I'm going to tell y'all, I think they may be motivated by Shotty. We'll see. Andrew Nichols Jr., what's up? He said, I've always liked Shotty. Hey, man, I'm telling you, people need to understand something about Shotty. Wilson said, we're acting like Cowboys front office let their staff do it all on them. Jerry will dig his fingers in this like always. Well, I'll say this. One of the things that Jerry has a tendency to do, in the first two seasons, he will typically give those coaches some leeway. So Brian is going to have to strike while the iron is hot. And I do think, again, if you want to run the ball and you don't get a running back this season, you didn't want him. This draft is going to be loaded. This draft is going to be loaded. And I do think they're going to try to get Shotty a running game. Let me read some more stuff, and then I'll get back into some of your comments. So, the players, they didn't want change. I think that's one of the things they didn't want. They didn't want change. This team thinks they're just maybe a couple of players away. I really do think that's what they're thinking. And I think a lot of them are saying, had we not been injured, we probably still win 10 or 11 games. So they're very optimistic. You think about what this team, some of the things they're thinking. We were injured. Check. And some of the injuries were severe. Omarion Overshown. I mean, they got so many things that they could basically say, had we been healthy, we would have been way better. So maybe this is a part of the reason why they didn't want the change. But let me tell you about Brian Schottenheimer. The thing that I like about Brian Schottenheimer is one of these coaches. He does not mind looking at what the trends are in the NFL. Brian Schottenheimer will do his homework. He will look at, okay, what are other teams being successful with? What are they doing? How are they getting their receivers open? What are they doing for their quarterback? How are they running the ball? How are they being successful? Schottenheimer will take those things. He'll acclimate those things into, okay, Dak Prescott, what do you like to do? Now, y'all keep in mind, Schotty is going to help Dak Prescott from this perspective, I believe. Dak Prescott can call plays too. Dak Prescott can flat out call plays. So Dak will be able to tell Schotty, okay, this is what I like. This is what I can do well. This, blah, blah, blah. Schotty can look at some things and say, hey, I saw these things and I think you can do these things. Schotty and Dak will be able to do something that I don't think Dak has probably been able to do with maybe Mike and Kellen. I believe Schotty and Dak are going to come up with this plan. I think Schotty and Dak are going to come up with this plan because Schottenheimer doesn't seem to be an egomaniac. See, Mike McCarthy, ego will not allow him to listen to players the way somebody Schottenheimer does, because this is exactly what they were saying. That Schottenheimer was going to bat for CD and Dak Prescott in 2023, trying to get Mike McCarthy to trust Dak and CD and give them certain plays to where they can eat. They said it. They said Schottenheimer did that. So the thing about Schottenheimer, when you think about his offensive philosophy, well, one, he doesn't mind running the ball. But number two, he's a chameleon. And that's rare in coaches. He doesn't mind looking at what's working outside of him and say, I want to do that too. Oh, we can do that too. Dak, what do you think about this? We can do that too. He's a chameleon. And I like that about Schotty. And that's one of the reasons why I'm telling you, Russell Wilson loved him. Russell Wilson absolutely loved Schottenheimer. He loved him. And when you think about Schotty, things that are being said about him, they say he's a motivator. What's one of the problems that we had with Mike McCarthy? One of the problems I have with Mike McCarthy, to me, he's just not a motivator of men. Schottenheimer can do that. Schottenheimer is a motivator of men, they're saying. They say he is a motivator and a leader. That's what they're saying about him. The talk around the facility. He's a player's coach. He's a player's coach. They like him. They like him. They like how he moves. They like how he explains things. They like how he does things. Something else that we ought to like about him, they say he's a culture builder. He builds great cultures. And he may be the very one, with all of the hatred that he's getting, he may be the very one that makes this team change their mentality as it pertains to winning. He may change their mind. He's willing. I like the fact, again, he's willing to adjust. Something that Mike McCarthy, in my opinion, he was very reluctant to do. He was very reluctant to do. Schotty is going to do some things, whether we realize it or not right now. Schotty is going to do some things that we've been complaining about that have not been done. Schotty is going to do those things. Schottenheimer he's playing with house money. His first year as a coach. I don't know if y'all ever heard of it. It's called the gutter ball theory. Y'all ever heard of the gutter ball theory? If you come out and you roll a gutter ball, and then if you hit 3 pins, no one looks at you as being terrible. They say, no, it's improvement. He's never been a head coach before. Everybody's expecting him to fail. And when Schottenheimer comes out here and starts being successful, because he's going to be successful, because we don't realize it, but we got players too. The offensive line is starting to come together. We got Dak, we got CD. I'm sure, I could be wrong, but I think the Cowboys will address wide receiver in the first 3 rounds. Wide receiver and running back will get addressed. I think in the 1, 2, and the 3, in any order, it's going to be running back, wide receiver, D-line. They're going to address those 3 things. And automatically, Schotty's going to have players automatically from the draft. And I'm telling you, Schottenheimer has me even more encouraged, because he may be the very reason why Jerry says, hey, man, we got to get this dude some players. We can't play around with Schottenheimer. I mean, we're already catching all kinds of flack from everybody in the media about this pick. We can't mess around with Schottenheimer. We're going to have to make sure he is successful. And the way you make him successful is simple. Players. Players. I mean, I don't understand this. People do not understand. Players. Players make coaches successful. Players make coaches successful. Coaches make players successful. Coaches make players successful when they put them in positions to win. When they understand their strengths and weaknesses and they play to those. Brian Schottenheimer, I'm just telling you. Everything I'm telling you can be backed up with facts. Everything I'm telling you can be backed up with facts. We can say anything we want to say about Brian Schottenheimer, but all I can show you is this is what he looked like. This is what he looked like. You look at his rushing offense with Seattle, 2018, 2019. The lower these numbers, the better. Now, the first year, I think it was the 10-6 year. Their offense, they were 18th in yards, 6th in points. Rushing attempts, they were 2 in attempts, 1 in yards, 11 in TDs. Their passing offense, they were 32nd in attempts, 27 in yards, 5th in TDs, 2nd in interceptions. So, that was the 10-6 season. Shotty turned around in the 2019 season. And look what he did. He turned around, and where I want you to focus, look what he did for Russell Wilson. Look what he did. He took the passing game, the passing offense, from 32 to 23. They were 14th in yards, 4th in TDs, 3rd in interceptions. The run game, he still keeps that together. 4th in yards, 15th in TDs. You go to 2020, he improved year over year. The 2020 season, he was 12-4. And look what he put up. 14th in yards of rushing, 15th in TDs. But look at Russell Wilson's year. That joker was 3rd in yards. He was 8th in attempts, 3rd in yards, 1st in TDs, 6th in interceptions. We can say anything we want to. But it is what it is. He showed nothing but improvement. Nothing but improvement with he showed nothing but improvement with Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, that's really what we can go by. I mean, that's the last time he was really the coach. And that's why I'm saying I was kind of laughing, because Pete Carroll said they had a difference of philosophies. Well, come to find out, pretty much what they're saying is that he was too aggressive for Pete Carroll. I want to see if we can go backwards here. Okay, let's go backwards. I was looking at his record. So okay, so this is Shotty in 2018. Okay, this is 2019. I want to go to the 2020 season. Let's see what that looked like. 2020 season. Look at the points. Look at the points they're putting up. The 2020 season. 38-25 over the Falcons. 35-30 over the Patriots. 38-31 over the Cowboys. 31-23 over the Dolphins. 27-26 over the Vikings. They got beat by the Cardinals, but they still scored 34 points. 37-27 over the Seahawks. 44-34 to the Bills. They got beat, they still put up 34 points. The Rams, 23-16. Cardinals, 28-21. They put up 28 points. 23 points, they beat the Eagles. They put up 12 points against the Giants, they got beat. They came back against the Jets and got 40. 20-15 over the Commanders. 20-9 over the Rams. 26-23. I mean, they're putting up mad points. They're putting up mad points. This is crazy work. Russell Wilson wish he was able to do this now. They put up mad numbers. They did. They put up mad numbers. I was trying to look at just a couple of the games. See, these are the type of numbers you want to see. Russell Wilson in this game was 21-27, 206 yards, 4 TDs. Now, the question is, did Shotty make Russ look good, or did Russ make Shotty look good? Because if you ask most people from the consensus is this is Brian Shotty. This is Shotty doing this. This is Shotty understanding Russell's game. Understanding Russell's game and continuing to help Russell late in his career evolve his game. And this is crazy. They let go of Brian Schottenheimer because he lost in the NFC wildcard game. Because he lost in the wildcard game in 18, the divisional round in 19, the wildcard in 20. So I guess they were basically saying he couldn't get over the hump, so they let him go. But, hey, man, he really had Russ cooking. That let Russ cook stuff, I think that came from him. Or not from him, but during his time period. So if we look at his history, I think we have more reasons. And I'm not going all the way back 10 years. Man, I keep telling people, man, you can't judge people on what they were 10 years ago. You have to judge people on their most recent work. On their most recent work. And so now, behind the scenes, I'm hearing, they're now attributing the 2023 second team All-Pro MVP runner-up season from Dak Prescott. They are partially attributing that to none other than Brian Schottenheimer. So I've already told y'all about me. Y'all just gonna have to understand about me. I just can't give you the same narrative as these other places. I mean, because then I would be just like them. I try to go by the facts. Because it is insane that someone says, well, we can't talk stats. Well, you can't talk facts. If we're not talking stats, we're not talking facts. If we're not talking stats, we're talking about opinion. And if we talk about opinions, then we're going to go around in circles all day long. Because the one thing I don't want to do, I really want to make this into a community to where we're really trying to learn, be informed, and not be controlled by the media, but be people who understand what we're watching so we don't let our emotions overwhelm us. And be a community that can feel good about the team that we're following, even though we know that we got a crazy owner. I mean, we know what it is. I mean, we know what it is. It's just like when Uncle Leroy come to the Christmas dinner. Uncle Leroy come to Thanksgiving. Everybody know it's Uncle Leroy. He gonna clown, whatever the case may be. But he Uncle Leroy. He family. We can't get rid of him. We can't get rid of him. So what do? We love him anyway. So we just have to roll with what we have, and that's what we're gonna do. But I want to give you perspectives and try to help you base those perspectives on fact. Fact, analytics, statistics, and the tape. They're all three telling the same story, just in more detail. So from what we've seen from Brian Schottenheimer, I can't help but be excited. We don't know what he is. I want to see. I want to see exactly what Brian Schottenheimer is, because he may be exactly what we need. He's not coming to town with a lot of fanfare. He's already been here. We've already alleviated him of one of the main things that mess up a lot of these coaches. What pressure does he have? Everybody think he's going to fail. Okay, good. It's always better when people don't see you coming. He gets to put his head down and focus on doing what he needs to do. I'm excited. Hector the Colon, what's going on? He said, unless we beef up the middle of the offensive line, the inside zone run is not going to work. Exactly. Now, I think we got our man with BB. I think they're moving some parts around, and I think they're going to get this together. But I hope they do not be afraid to supplement what we look like we're starting to build. Don't be afraid to supplement it in the draft. Do not be afraid to supplement it in the draft. I mean, not in the draft, no, in free agency. Because there are always really good linemen in free agency. You might not do nothing on day one, but definitely try to do something on day 2 or 3. But I think they're on their way to fixing the line. Tyler Guyton, he's got to move to the right. Tyler Guyton at left tackle is a liability for whoever the quarterback is. So Guyton, they're going to have to see if he's a bust or not. But I think it might be easier for him if he moves to the right. His feet are not quick enough for the left tackle. David Everett, what do you think? What Cowboys are doing a draft and free agency? The draft, I think it's the running back. Because I'm going to tell y'all now. I'm just going to tell y'all about me. If the Cowboys get Ashton Jeanty, Omarion Hampton, let's put up these wide receivers and running backs. I mean, yeah, let's pull up these running backs and stuff. I'm just gonna tell y'all about me. I'm just being honest. I'm just telling y'all right now. This is where I am right now. So these are the available running backs for the Cowboys coming into the draft. Jeanty, Hampton. I'm telling you, these two for me are interchangeable. I know everybody wants Jeanty. They're interchangeable for me. If they don't get Jeanty, I'm cool. I'm great with Omarion Hampton. Then you got the kid from Oregon, James Jordan, and I'm looking at the speed because I think the Cowboys, Rico Dowdle is a ground and pound running back. I'm not mad at that, but I think looking at what the Philadelphia Eagles are doing, you're looking at what the Baltimore Ravens are doing, the Buffalo Bills, you're watching a team or teams with home run hitting running backs. Yeah, I like the Rico Dowdle. Okay, you can give me 12. You can give me 14. Okay, I like that. You're moving the chains. But I also want a running back to where we say, hey, at any given moment, he going to hit his head on the goalpost and knock the camera down. And you get that when you get these 4-3, 4-4 running backs. I mean, 4-5 is cool too, but I want to stick in the 4-3, 4-4 range. You got Jordan James, Dylan Sampson from Texas. He's a little light, but hey, 4-3-5. I love the Ohio State running backs. Trayvon Henderson, Quinshon Judkins. Both of them are sub 4-5. You got Brashard Smith from, I think that's SMU. I mean, man, come on, man. I'm telling y'all now, Cowboys get Ashton Genty or Marion Hampton or one of these guys from Ohio State. I'm just telling you now, David, I'm checking out after that. I probably won't hear nothing else after that because I'll be drunk off of just that one draft pick, because a running back is going to change life in Dallas. The one thing I'm hoping the Shotty will do is he won't just try and run it up the middle. How about some sweeps? How about some pitches? Can we try to do the outside and not always just focus on the inside? I'm telling you now, if the Cowboys get a running back, I'm checking out. I'm checking out after that. You ain't going to have to worry about me no more. That'll be my whole conversation for the first round. And if they come out, you look at the wide receiver, they have no excuse. They have no excuse not to get CeeDee Lamb any help. Now, I keep hearing that Luther Burden III, they keep saying that he is going to be, the wide receiver that the Cowboys are going to pick. I'm a little bit confused on that. I mean, he's a burner, but I don't want a 5'11 receiver. My receivers, I just wouldn't go lower than 6'2", minimum 6'1" if they're a burner. I wouldn't go below 6'1". I want McMillan. Now, the Cowboys get McMillan, I'm losing my mind. I'm just telling you now. I'm losing my mind if the Cowboys get McMillan. But if they don't get McMillan, I will not be mad if they get Egbuka. I will not be mad. I mean, there are wide receivers all through this thing. Sub 4.4s. This kid here from I think that's the Longhorns. I'm not sure who that is. I think that's a Longhorn symbol. 6 feet, 4'3". Yeah, all day for me. I mean, this draft is loaded at the skill positions of running back, wide receiver. There'll be no excuse not to get a wide receiver, and especially one that's running in the 4.3 range. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm not ready to sleep on Jonathan Mingo. I want to see what Jonathan Mingo is with Dak Prescott. And the reason is, do y'all realize we got Jonathan Mingo literally for a ring out of the bubblegum machine for 25 cents? Now, we gave up a 4th round draft pick. I think we could have got him for a 5th or a 6th. We gave up a 4th. But his pay is so little. I mean, this dude is playing for pennies on the dollar. I want to see what he looks like with Dak Prescott and Marty Schottenheimer. I want to see what he looks like, David Everett. So for me, I think the one thing they're going to do in the draft will be the skill positions, and then they'll probably address the D-line and the O-line, the linebacker, the cornerback, the safety. That's going to be probably 3rd, 5th, 6th, and 7th. I do think that Jerry may try to make a trade and pull some of them. He got 10 picks. I wouldn't be surprised if Jerry tries to get back in the 4th like he did last year and actually come up with a 4th round draft pick. Or if Genty and McMillan is gone, if I'm the Cowboys, I trade backwards. I get me another pick. I'll trade backwards. You come get this pick that I got at 12. Let me have your 2nd. Then I got me 2 seconds, or I got me 2/3. I'll trade back if I'm the Cowboys if I don't get McMillan and Genty. Because y'all remember what happened. CD wound up falling to us in the 17th? Fell to us at 17. Man, everybody keep talking about, yeah, man, McMillan is going to be off the board. Genty be off the board. Man, you mess around and both of them be there. Both of them or one of them be there, and so you'll be able to get them. You will be able to get them. And then in free agency, I think they're going to have to probably, they got so many places to fill. They're not going to have no choice but to be in free agency. They're not going to have a choice. We literally have 30 players. They're not going to have a choice. So that's what I think they're going to do, Everett. I think they're going to address that running back and that wide receiver. Alex Gauls, appreciate you. He said, first time listening. Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Yes, sir. Let's go Cowboys. Troy Dudley, Dallas has G's and a C. Okay, you said it has G's and a C. Give me that right there. Now you got to put me up on game. No, Jerry didn't like what Brian said. Steven liked the fact Brian took a low ball offer. Santiago, I told you. The 3 C's: cheap, controllable, comfortability. But when you're talking about Brian Schottenheimer, I don't think that's going to be a problem. Because Brian isn't coming in like someone who is expecting more. Watch this. Y'all know what else we need to understand about Brian Schottenheimer, and we're going to see exactly what his effect is going to be. He know what it is, y'all. Brian know what it is. The Cowboys are giving Brian an opportunity. I'm waiting on the announcement for Jason Witten to be on the staff. Sooner or later, I'm just waiting for Jason Witten to come on the staff. Because when Jason Witten comes on the staff, the plan is in place. The clock is ticking on, the clock ticks on one Brian Schottenheimer. And if I'm Schottenheimer, I'm not even mad. I know what it is. I know y'all want Jason Witten to be a coach. But I also know I want to be a head coach in this league. And the best way to be a head coach in this league is to take a head coach job. I'm going to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Let me tell y'all something. Did I not tell y'all this thing about Trey Songz? One thing about being the Dallas Cowboy quarterback, that old Trey Songz song, I bet the neighbors know my name. Everybody knows the name of Brian Schottenheimer now. Everybody knows his name. Now everybody knows his name. If Brian Schottenheimer can come in, and he doesn't even have to, don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't try to do what no one else has done, as in, don't come in trying to fight Jerry. He's not going to do it. Don't come in trying to take the team from Jerry. Don't even worry about it. Just do your part. This is the part I couldn't stand about Mike McCarthy. Do your part. Call the right plays. Put your players in position to win. Understand who your skill players are. And you figure out plays to use all of them. This was the same knock on Mike McCarthy when he got fired in Green Bay. And to me, it was the same knock with the Dallas Cowboys. Mike McCarthy could never figure out how to use the weapons we had. He never figured out how to use Deuce Vaughn. What is Deuce Vaughn? I wouldn't have got him. He's too small of a running. I mean, he's not a small running back, but he's a short running back. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to translate. But we've seen these guys like Deuce Vaughn before, and they've actually flourished. Mike couldn't figure out a way to use Deuce Vaughn. Mike McCarthy, I don't know if it was stubbornness or he couldn't figure it out. We know what Zeke is. He couldn't figure out how to use Zeke. He couldn't figure out how to use Hunter Lipke. Who on this chat didn't look at Hunter Lipke as a weapon? Couldn't figure out how to use Hunter Lipke. Misused Kevontae Turpin. Misused him. Misused Kevontae Turpin. Kevontae Turpin should have killed it on offense. Couldn't do it. So we should be a little bit more excited about Brian, because I think Brian is going to figure out how to do a lot of those things. I do. I think Brian's going to figure out how to do a lot of those things. I'm excited about Brian, because when they start talking about him, I'm like, I don't know what to be, because we how can we hate on him? The last time we saw him, he did great with Russell Wilson. I mean, what else do we say? Silver Turkey says, get me Joe LT. Okay, give me some more on what you mean there. Yes, sir. What's going on, Jax? Willie says, Shotty get Genty and will run the ball. Shotty get, Willie, not only if he gets Genty will he run the ball, if he gets Hampton, he's going to run the ball. If he gets any of these kids from Ohio State, he's going to run the ball. Shotty's going to run the ball. I also think he's going to have a passing game to where Dak is going to get some quality throws down the field. Quality throws. Schottenheimer has had the benefit of, I want y'all to think about this. Schottenheimer supposedly was the offensive coordinator. I don't understand how you be the offensive coordinator and you're not calling the plays. But he's had the opportunity to sit under Mike McCarthy and see everything he likes and everything he didn't like. And now he can really make some improvements. If he just does what he's supposed to do, man, he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be fine. Silver said, we still got Lance. Lance is an unrestricted free agent. But I do think there may be a market for Lance if we're not careful. Willie T, I said the same thing. He's not the sexy pick, but he's also not the drama pick. Shotty, unlike Mike was a part of the drama. Shotty isn't a part of the drama. The drama is just around Shotty. So he's in a whole different headspace. Dallas won't even win 6 games. MG, stay with me the whole year. I'm going to be telling you I told you so. Let me see what I got here. I want to remember. Okay, let me go. Right. Let's see. Wait. Yeah, I disagree with you on that. Cowboys are going to win. They're going to win more than 6 games. I believe the Cowboys have at least. Let's go over here. I got this somewhere. Let's see. Cowboys, in actuality, MG, the Cowboys, in actuality, are probably going to win somewhere around, if I'm a betting man, even though I don't bet, the Cowboys are actually going to win somewhere around 10 to 11 games. And let me show you why, before you say I'm crazy. Let me see here. All right, let me pull up something. I'm going to show you why I believe the Cowboys are going to be competitive again next year. Let's see if we can pull this up. We already got our opponents. So we already got our opponents for the 2025 season. And it is going to be tough. I had this in my notes. I can't remember where I had it. It is going to be tough. I'm not going to lie to you. Because we're going to run through a couple of really tough divisions. But if you look at the teams that we're playing, we're going to be able to beat some of those teams. And I think we're going to be able to beat some of those teams pretty easy. If I can't find it out, we'll talk about it the next show. No, the Cowboys are going to win way more than the games you're talking about. Because at the end of the day, we're not a team. Because at the end of the day, we're not a team that's actually rebuilding, contrary to what people think. We're not rebuilding. We're actually not rebuilding our team. We still got a lot of our players. So for us, what we're trying to do is fill in where we're going to be lacking some players. Okay, I think I got the schedule right here. So I'll find it. This will be our discussion tomorrow when we do the pregame show for the NFC weekend. But when you look at the Cowboys' schedule for next year, oh no. We have the ability to be able to win. Yeah, we're going to be able to win. Yeah, we're going to be able to win next year for sure. And I was trying to see if this is my schedule I'm looking at for next year. I can't find it. I'll find it and we'll do it tomorrow. But the Cowboys' schedule for next year is going to be pretty tough. Their opponents are going to be pretty tough. But they also have a lot of opponents that they're going to be able to knock off. Yeah, they have a lot of opponents that they're going to be able to knock off. Okay, let me see something here. I think I got it here. All right, let's look at what you said, MG. Make sure this is it here. Okay. So if we look at their 2025 opponents, so of course, we're going to have our division. So we got the Giants, the Eagles, the Commanders. Now, you said we'll win how many games? You said 6. The Giants will not be where they're supposed to be by the time we see the Giants. I got a strange feeling, MG, we can still guarantee 2 wins against the Giants. So let's make sure we're keeping the mark. So we got, I believe the Giants will be 2 wins. If you look at the Eagles and the Commanders, as good as they are, with a team that was not even full, we still knocked off the Commanders, and we almost beat them the last game. I'm going to call the Commanders a split. So I'll give us 1 win, 1 loss. The Eagles, I'll also give us 1 win, 1 loss. As good as they are, I'll give us 1 win, 1 loss. The Packers at home, I'm going to take the Cowboys this time. They're going to look different. The Chiefs, okay, we can write that off as a loss if we want to. The Chargers, we seem to continue to have the Chargers number. I think we can still beat the Chargers. I think we can beat the Vikings. I think we can beat the Cardinals. So off the top, from what I got, that's already 8-3. Split with the Giants. No, we're gonna sweep the Giants. Sweep the Giants, split the Eagles, split the Commanders. That's 4 games. I think we beat the Packers at home. They're not the same team. Chiefs, loss. Chargers, we've seemed to have had the Chargers number. I don't see why it would change. I think we can beat the Chargers at home. Herbert, he's good, but I think he's overrated. Vikings, J.J. McCarthy's first year, I don't think he's going to come out just being a world beater. The Vikings may actually take a step back before they take a step forward. Cardinals, not even worried. That's 8 wins right there. Then you go on the road. So I've already included the Giants, Eagles, and the Commanders. Book it. Ben Johnson and the Bears will not be ready in the first season. I don't believe they're going to be ready in the first season. Broncos, that's going to be a tough game. I could see us losing that one on the road. The defense is ferocious. Lions, new OC, new DC. Okay, we'll see. I'll give us a loss if we want to call it a loss. Let's give us a loss, right? Lions. Oh, okay, Raiders. I'm sorry. Pete Carroll is not going to bring them back to winning ways that quick. That's a win. Jets. I'm going to tell you again, I do not believe Aaron Glenn is going to flip that team that quick. And I know we can beat the Panthers again. So if anybody's been keeping mark, MG, that's a 12-5 season. That's a 12-5 season. That's a 12-5 season. Even if you give it a margin of error of a -2, +2, you still, in that 12-win season, you will still have the potential to be either 10 wins or 13 wins. But I just don't see a situation unless this team doesn't have it together, which I think they're going to have it together. At the bare minimum, how do they not win 10? How do they not win 10 with that schedule? You literally have 4 wins built into your own division. And we know this because they did it this year almost. The only team that they didn't split with was the Eagles. And they actually should have split with the Eagles in the first game. You think about the Zeke fumble. You think about CeeDee Lamb and couldn't see in the sun. And then you think about the turnovers with Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush, the Eagles just seem to have this man's number. Cooper Rush can't do nothing against the Eagles. If there's one team that Cooper Rush can't do anything against, is the Eagles. So, optimism, it's there. You have to understand something about Brian Schottenheimer. It's not going to be that big. It's not going to be that big of a change as in they're going to have to be learning a whole lot of new things. No. Brian will probably do some of the same things. He'll ask Dak what he's like, what he doesn't like. They'll modify it and come up with the Dak and Shotty. Trust me, they're going to come up with a plan. I think they're going to come up with a plan together, and they'll be fine. Playmaker said, last time I checked, Herbert, Hurts, and Goff weren't elite either, but they got running games and defenses that helped them out this year. Yeah, they did. They did. And even the team, even the quarterbacks that are elite, they got a lot of help. Troy Dudley, Dallas needs 2 running backs. I said the same thing. 2 running backs, not 1, 2. Get 2. Get 2. Stan Bino, I'm trying to convince you. You got a lot to look forward to. I believe the Cowboys are going to be great next year. JV said, why is this low-key convincing me? JV, I'm just telling you, it's not the doom and gloom people think it is. As much as I even hate to say it, if there's one way you don't want to have a lot of changes so that your team is having to make a lot of adjustments, okay, we got to learn a whole new offense, whole new defense, which the defense is going to have to learn some new things. But the offense, they made a Dak Prescott hire. And I believe that Shotty and Dak are going to get together and they're going to come up with the 2025 game plan for the Cowboys. Shotty, man, I'm telling you, Shotty has no ego. What ego can Shotty have? Shotty is going to do exactly what I wish Mike McCarthy would have did. Hey, man, all the outside noise. No. You know what Jerry Jones is. Okay, yes. What part do I control? Plays. Lock in. Lock in on the plays. Convince the Joneses, which I think he did in some of his interviews. Convince them if we do this with Dak. Because I saw one of the questionnaires that they ask these coaches when they bring them in. And it's exactly what I thought it was. The questionnaires. It's a lot of questions of, okay, what do you think about Dak Prescott? What would you do if you were the coach of Dak Prescott? What would be your philosophy as far as plays? How can we make him better? What do you think we can do to win playoff games? What do you think we can do to get to the Super Bowl? They're asking the head coach or the OC all these questions. I think Schottenheimer convinced them, oh, hey, man, I think we can do this with that. MG, Schottenheimer only lasted a season in Washington. You know what, though? Context is everything, MG. Context is everything. Let me see here. So when was he with Washington? I'm wondering. So is Washington the 2021, 2022? Because I noticed that there's a break on here. But you got to understand something. If you're talking about 2021 and 2022, man, the Washington Commanders were in turmoil. They were in turmoil. They really were. I would not have wanted to be with that franchise, especially during that season when they got ready to get rid of Snyder. It was terrible. They had all kinds of things going on. Willie T, Ben Johnson will most likely get him. Ben is raving about him. Yeah, you're talking about Ashton Jeanty, but we don't need Ashton Jeanty. We may want Ashton Jeanty. Amarian Hampton will be just as good. Amarian Hampton will be just as good. We can't lose even with the Ohio State running backs. We don't need, let's be careful. We don't need Jeanty. We want Jeanty. What we need is a running game. And a running game don't have to be Ashton Jeanty. The running game, to me, it just needs to be, hey, we need to do better than Rico Dowdle this time. And what we need is a home run hitter. Get it in there and get a home run hitter. How do you lose with Amarian Hampton? How do you lose? I don't understand how you lose. If I'm the Cowboys, Ashton Jeanty is the least of my worries. If he's there, I'm getting him. If he's not, I'm not worried. I'm actually going to keep my eye on, okay, more than likely Ashton Jeanty is going to be gone. So this is my big board. I'm not going to put Ashton Jeanty on the main part of the big board. I'm going to put Ashton Genty to the left side of the big board. And I'm going to have a side that says, okay, this is what we need. These are the best players in the draft. And if they fall to us, no matter what we need, we're getting them. That's that side over there. Abdul Carter, Macmillan, Ashton Genty. Those guys are going over there. Because we already know, and the quarterback, contrary to what a lot of people think, the quarterback draft they're saying actually isn't that good. So Cowboys don't need a quarterback, not worried about that part. Running back, wide receiver, defensive end, defensive tackle, cornerback. I mean, if there's some top 10 guy that I know I got to have, okay, this is the best player in the draft at that position. I'm putting all those guys over here in that top 12. And if one of them happen to fall, we're going to get them regardless. So with Genty, I'm putting him on that side. But I'm going to tell you who I'm going to have my eyes on. For me, I'm going to have my eyes on reality. The reality for me is I'm going to keep my eye out for Marion Hampton. This is who I want. I made a video about Deion Sanders versus Kellen Moore in a sense. If Kellen Moore is the target, Deion Sanders is the dream. So if I'm looking at this right here, and I know how much everybody's talking about Ashton Genty is the dream. Marion Hampton is the plan. Because I already know if I can't get Genty, he's the second best running back according to them in the draft. So if the first running back is gone, I definitely get the second one. How do I lose? I get the second one. And I can go even further. Okay, if they knock off Genty and they knock off Hampton, guess what? There is no way. Dylan Thompson, Trayvon Henderson, Quinshon Judkins, Brashard Smith. There is no way those 5 running backs are off the board. I can't lose at running back. I can't lose. Genty can't be the focus. Genty is the dream. If he's there, we're getting him. Just like CeeDee Lamb. Just like Michael Parsons. If they're there, we're getting them. Ashton Genty there, get him. If he's not, don't even cry about it. Get him Marion Hampton. I would even be wise enough to say, okay, so we're not going to get Genty. Let's look at something real quick, guys. So this is the draft order. They already kind of got a mock draft up. So if you look at the mock draft, and for whatever reason, they say that this Tankatron thing has been crazy accurate. I need to do some research on this, but this is what they're saying. This stuff is crazy accurate according to them. So if you look at the Cowboys, they're projecting Genty to go to us. I'm with y'all. Ben Johnson is probably going to get his way. I just don't see Genty. And even if it doesn't be the Bears, why would San Francisco let him go past? I don't know. Maybe these guys know something that we don't know. But I got a hard time believing that Genty is going to fall to the Cowboys. But go down the line and look at this. If this stays true, there's not another running back going in the first round. According to this, there's not another running back in the first round. I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my ears to the streets. I'm going to do a little bit of calling around, and I'm going to play a little chicken. And I'm going to start finding out from teams, hey, you know what? We may be interested in trading our 12. We may be interested in trading our 12. What are y'all looking for in the first round? What are you looking for? And if I don't hear anybody talking about running backs and Genty I know is going to be gone, bye-bye. I'm trading that pick. I'll trade that pick. I'll trade all the way to the bottom of the first if I have to, or I'll trade to the mid-pack of the first. And I will get someone else that I need, knowing in the second round, I come back around the 12, there's no way by the second round, 12th pick, that those top 6 running backs are all gone. There's no way. I mean, there is a way it's possible. I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. The Cowboys are in a great position. I wish they could have got a little higher than 12. Because they probably could have got Genty had they got higher than 12. But 12, okay, cool. Because a lot of teams don't believe anyway in drafting running backs in the first round. But y'all are right. Ben Johnson is not done. Y'all talking about Saquon Barkley is making Kellen Moore look good. Well, who in the world do you think making Ben Johnson look good? This man's got a plethora of players. And when he goes to Chicago, he's going to want players. I'm very interested to see if they get him for him, because I'm telling you, if they don't get him for him, you're going to see how he's going to look. He's going to look a whole lot different. Doomsday, mark my words, the Dallas Cowboys will regret letting Kellen Moore walk. Ooh, okay. In the next 3 years, everyone who trashed Kellen will be eating crow. Doomsday said, I for one wanted him here before they fired him. I said it before Doomsday, but everybody think I'm crazy, but I'm just like, where they do this at? The dude was winning and they let him go. He won a playoff game that year and they let him go for a 12-19 loss in the playoffs, where one of the players that was going to be the primary part of his game plan broke his leg. But I can tell you this, if Shotty does what he's supposed to do, it'll be no looking back. But I'll tell you this too, what's his name is going to be he's going to be a coach in this league for sure. Stabino, hey man, hey, appreciate you, man. I'm just, like I said, I'm just trying to give us the facts, because I'm telling you, these 3 and 4 letter networks are not designed like that. I want y'all to think about what they want. They want the whole world to think the Cowboys are the worst franchise in the world. We're the laughing stock of the league. That's what they want them to think. But if Brian come in here and do what he's supposed to do, Brian going to be fine. Brian's going to be fine. Hit the colon, run the ball. Yes, control the clock, and let your offense play keep away. That's how you helped out your defense. All they got to do, I'm telling you, a running game changes life in Dallas. I'm telling you, Cowboys go get Ashton Genty, Amarion Hampton, one of these other running backs. I'm checking out. I'm just telling y'all now, I'm checking out. Because I know the whole season is different once we get a running back. A running back's going to change the line, how we block, the plays we call, Dak Prescott play action, wide receivers, wide open. It changes everything. Man, we're watching a renaissance in this league. Here come the run game. It's back. It's back. Silva, I think they wanted Quinn too, but Quinn wasn't waiting around here. And he wasn't waiting around here because Jerry won't do it. Jerry won't do enough for Quinn. Willie T, you kept trying to tell me Jerry was going to get Kellen Moore. Like I told you, Kellen Moore was the plan. The problem is, Willie T, and it's being reported, Kellen Moore slammed the door on the Cowboys. They didn't slam the door on Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore slammed the door, Willie T, in the face of the Cowboys. Slammed the door. No, they said he wasn't putting up with it. Nope, slammed the door on the Cowboys. Cowboys fan for life. I don't get why anyone wants Kellen. Now, I'm not saying I wanted Kellen as a head coach, but there are teams that's going to want Kellen Moore because he's been looking good. He has. Dallas is rebuilding. Who cares how many games they win? Well, Troy, they're not in a full rebuild though. The Cowboys are not what I would call a rebuild. The Cowboys are what you call a renovation project. They're not ripping up the foundation. No, they got the foundation. CD, Dak, Micah. Foundation already there. Deron Bland. I mean, the Cowboys, we may not realize it because we get told we're terrible, but when you look at what we have players. Now, what Jerry and this staff is going to have to do, something that they haven't done since Jimmy, they got to figure out how to put together a team. And I think that this dude, Brian Schottenheimer is going to be able to help, because you're going to have somebody, he's not going to be concerned with some of the things like a person like Mike McCarthy would be concerned with, because Mike McCarthy comes in here saying, well, I've done this before. I know how to build teams. Shotty ain't saying that. Y'all know what Shotty is doing? Shotty got his head in the books, in the film, and he's saying, how can I make this offense better? How can I make Dak Prescott better? And this is a thing for Dak. I hope Brian Schottenheimer challenges him. Dak has gotten comfortable. He's gotten very comfortable. I hope Shotty can get him out of a comfort zone. He got to challenge Dak Prescott. He's got to challenge him to do some things that he knows he can do. That Shotty say, hey, man, you can do this. You can do this stuff that Dak hasn't done before. Dak Prescott, he's already said, I told y'all before, and I knew this was one of the things that Dak had to do. I said, Dak comes back, he's got to get a track coach. Man, I'm telling you something. I watched Patrick Mahomes all-season workout. This dude, there is a reason why I called Patrick Mahomes. He's the smartest runner in the league. He's the smartest running quarterback in the league. He has a running coach. A coach that all he focuses on is Patrick Mahomes running the ball. Patrick Mahomes making cuts. Patrick Mahomes making stops. Patrick Mahomes doing moves. You want to know how he does that? You think he's improvising? No. No, he's not improvising. He's doing what he's practiced. Practice makes perfect. The greats become elite through practice. You take a guy like Allen Iverson, absolute monster. Imagine what he would have been if he saw practice in a different way. Michael Vick will tell you. Michael Vick was so bleeping gifted. This joker wouldn't even watch film. This dude wouldn't watch film, man. They would give Michael Vick blank DVDs. Hey, man, here's the offense. Here's the defense we're playing against next week. Hey, look at the film. Look at the film on it, and blah, blah, blah. Tell us what you see, what you want to do. Okay, got you. They would give him blank DVDs on purpose because they knew he wasn't going to watch the DVDs. But Michael Vick will tell you. He said it. I wish I would have took the game more serious early in my career. This dude was so bleeping talented. He relied so much on his talent that he didn't care about the X's and O's as much. Michael Vick was a beast. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks. But where Shotty now has got to take Dak Prescott. He's got to take Dak Prescott to some places he's never been before. And Dak has got to get back in that weight room. He's talking about it now. He's putting more muscle back on his body. What Dak has done, if y'all hadn't paid attention over the last 2 years, Dak has been very careful about what he's been putting in his body. And Dak got a lot more leaner. He got a lot more leaner. So he said coming back, he's going to try to put more muscle back on his body so that he can do some of the things that he used to do. Because I'm sorry, 31 years old is not old enough for you to not be able to run. That ain't old enough. Aaron Rodgers was scrambling well into his mid-30s. Dak got to get back, and Brian's going to have to help him get back to doing some of the things that are making these quarterbacks in the league successful right now. I think it's dangerous to turn Dak into a pure pocket passer. You got to turn him back into a play-action quarterback. And if it's not there, Dak, we're not asking you to run down the field, but can you get outside a little bit? Move your doggone feet. Get outside so we can get you throwing on the run again. We're not going to ask you to run down there and get your brains knocked out, but we need you to get outside. Shotty's going to have to help Dak with all of this stuff. All of this stuff. to get Dak Prescott back to where he once was and get this team over the hump. He's got to challenge him. Stambino, appreciate you. We got to challenge him, and I'm hoping Brian's going to be able to do that. Bottom line is, this team is on the verge of rebuilding. They're attempting to rebuild. It's a renovation. A rebuild is when you don't have your quarterback. A rebuild is when you take the Raiders. Pete Carroll is only the bridge coach. The Raiders are about to go through what you call a rebuild. When you don't have your quarterback, oh yeah, you're in a rebuild. You're looking in the draft for your quarterback. You're looking in the draft for your running back. You're looking in the draft for your – they don't have nothing. The Raiders literally are down to bare bones. I mean, the one thing they do have is what? Their tight end. They have the tight end. They got one of the best tight ends in the doggone league. But their team, it's a total rebuild. We're not rebuilding. We got way too many pieces. In actuality, we're doing a renovation. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to turn this house into a home. The problem with this team, this house hasn't been a home for a long time. This has been a place where people come to get popular, a place where people come to get famous. But it hasn't been a home. They got to try to find a way to turn this place into a team where people come to live and be a team and say, I want to be a part of this team and help them win. I'm telling y'all, Brian Schottenheimer, for everything everything the tea leaves, the stuff they're saying about this guy, this is one of the reasons why I think they like him. They think he can turn this house into a home. Because I'm telling you, Dan Quinn is saying some things about the Cowboys. And he ain't saying them, he's being very cryptic. Mike McCarthy was kind of toxic. Dan Quinn, after his first year, he was questioning whether or not he should still be here. Because he felt the animosity from, and not necessarily, I don't know if you call it animosity, but the paranoia. It was awkward. And you think about it. Dan Campbell has been a head coach and could have been a head coach, and people kept asking him to be a head coach, and he's the defensive coordinator on your staff. That was a little unnerving for Mike McCarthy. Mike, to me, doesn't have the right mindset. I don't care. Me, I'm different. I want the best people around me. Because all that does is make me look better. It makes me look better when I can have people better than me around me and succeed. That's what you want. It is. Wilson said, O-line is heavy in this draft. They will be okay. Ben has a better front office. Ben Johnson. You know what they're saying, though? They're gonna see if the Chicago Bears are going to stick to what they said. We're going to see. Yep, Silver Turkey. Dallas is coming to place where careers come to die. Yeah, they've messed off some players. They really have. We got to reverse this. Lead time, appreciate you. Yeah, we got to turn this stuff around. Culture change. Okay, there it is, G. They're saying that Brian Schotty can do this. Let him. This is why I can't tear him down. I couldn't tear him down. How can I tear him down? I can only go by what people have been saying around him. And these are the characteristics that we're talking about. We don't realize it. Everything we've been saying that we want, this dude is it. At least that's what they're saying. Players and people around him. Even Bobby Belt he couldn't hate on him. He couldn't. You can't. We just got to wait and see. Gee, I told you Shotty was that 7. Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, I'm with you. He that 7, that 10 that everyone wants and that everyone wants, but he can't get the job done. I tell you this, Willie T. They might not want him now. Just wait on Shotty. If Shotty come in here and focus and does what I think he can do, it's gonna be a different story for Shotty. It is. Yeah. Now, if you're saying they're on the verge, now what they're doing, this is a renovation, but the verge of the rebuild is when Dak Prescott's contract ends. because CeeDee Lamb's contract is scheduled to end right there too. So the Cowboys can walk away from all of this. But the reason why I don't think this is a rebuild, the Cowboys are doing something very smart. I want you to think about what they're doing. So they got foundational pieces. So it's not a rebuild, it's a renovation. But what they're going to be able to do in the next 3 years, if they play their cards right, you don't get Dak Prescott's replacement in 2025. You don't get his replacement in 2026. You dedicate 25 and 26 to the chip. Nothing but the chip in 25 and 26. You're not playing around. Yeah, get you a good backup quarterback. There'll be somebody out there available. They may bring back Trey Lance. Will Greer's already on the team. Go out there and get you some. I would get somebody better than maybe a Trey Lance. I would probably get a veteran quarterback if I could find one that's good enough. And I would let him be behind Dak Prescott. But these next 2 years, don't go in the draft and get a quarterback. You dedicate every resource to the chip in 2026. And then in 2027, you go in the draft. If I'm the Cowboys, because your team by 2026, from what we're going to do this year, replacing players from free agency, the draft, we're probably going to do something at the trade deadline. So then you come back in 2026, you've already replaced a lot of the players that you missed in 2020 or you let go in 2024. All the players in 2026 are going to be young. So now you're developing your players. So now you just get you some more players. Now you can go in the draft in 2026. Follow this. If you go in this draft, this free agency, get all your players, get them all back on these 2, 3, 4-year contracts, however you want to do it, you get those players settled. You get to do something you haven't done in a long time. Now you get to go into the 2026 draft, and your draft is now, we're not drafting for need. Quarterback, check. 2 wide receivers, check. 2 running backs, check. Line, check. D-line, check. Still need a little work, but check. Cornerbacks, check. Keep in mind, we got Michael. They're going to get somebody to go with him. Sam Williams is coming back. Trayvon Diggs. They're going to address cornerback, I'm pretty sure, in the draft. Trayvon Diggs. We got Deron Bland. I got a feeling we're going to bring, mark my words, I may be wrong, but I think that Jerry's going to probably even bring in Shiloh Sanders on the Cowboys. So 2026, you'll have all the players. Well, I mean, 2025 season, all the players. 2026, your draft is different. You're not drafting for need no more. The only thing on my board, who are the best players in the draft? I'm not drafting for need no more. I got what I needed last year. All I'm looking for now is enhancements. Now I'm looking for enhancements. Now I'm looking for the pieces that will take us over the top. And this is where we've been missing the boat. This is how you build teams. They have the opportunity this year, with all of the turnover they're going to have, you get to fill all the positions. And you can either stay at the same grade or up the grade. Don't go below. The draft, loaded, skill positions, running back, wide receiver. You said, I think somebody said O-line. Watch this. The only position that is not loaded in this draft is quarterbacks. You don't need a quarterback. Don't worry about it. You don't need a quarterback. You can go in this draft and literally populate your team with nothing but future stars and players. Every position, do something in the free agency, and you're set. Now you're not drafting for need. The worst thing people do in the draft is draft for need. No, you draft now the best players on the board. And if they do this in 2025, 2026, 2027 will even be better, because now you say, okay, Dak Prescott, 34 years old, you're still playing well, but we're going to dedicate the first round to a quarterback. I go and get me a first round quarterback in 2027. Understanding that if Dak Prescott is still playing well, we're already going to push his money down the road. We may let him play 2028 because he's going to play 2027. We may let him play 2028. And then we let him go because he'll be an unrestricted free agent. Then we let him go. We've already kicked his money down into the void years. We get 2 years of a number 1 draft pick, or a first round draft pick, a first round draft pick sitting on the bench for 2 years. This is how you build teams. This is how you build teams. They have an opportunity to do something they have not done in a very long time. They do. Troy, yeah, Shotty getting a 4-year deal. Wonder what Mike McCarthy thinks of that. Now, Troy, you think about a 4-year deal, though. A 4-year deal. This was the same thing I was saying that I would have tried to do with Mike McCarthy, because this is what the Raiders did to Pete Carroll. The Raiders told Pete Carroll 3 years with a 4th-year option. So let's flip this to one Brian Schottenheimer. So I'm interested in what his salary is going to be. If Brian Schottenheimer's salary is something like, let's say Brian Schottenheimer's salary is like a $4 million salary for a coach. Let's say it's even $5 million. Okay. I'm bringing in Jason Witten because I'm waiting. He is the guy that they want. He's the future they want of the new regime once Dak is out the door. I'll keep Shotty for 3. And if he's not doing well, I'll eat that 4th. If his contract is low enough, and when I think it's going to be. So I believe Shotty's contract, it's 4. He'll get paid for 4. But if he isn't doing well by the 3rd year, you don't do what you did with Mike McCarthy. You go ahead and let him go. You already got Witten. Hey, we're going to pay you. Go ahead and go home. Witten, let's go ahead and start getting this thing together. Okay, let's cut Dak. Let's cut CD. Now we're going to we've already got a lot of players will already be in place, including the quarterback that you drafted in the first round with Dak Prescott. They got the perfect opportunity to build this team the way that they want to. Stambino. Yes, sir. That hip dance is definitely coming back. You better believe it is. Slick, Brian Puppenheimer. And Slick, I'm going to tell you, though, it's okay, though. In the case of Brian Schottenheimer, it's okay. Because Brian know what it is. And if Brian know what it is, do what you're supposed to do. Control what you can control. Control what you can control. That's all you have to do. You control what you can control, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just control what you can control. Oh, yeah, man, Troy Dudley. I'm going to tell you now, my first 5 signings for the Cowboys right now, maybe, let me think if I can think of the 5th one, but let me use yours. J. Lou, signing him. Ozzie Odigizua, signing him. Kavontae Turpin, signing him. Brandon Aubrey, signing him. You got to sign those. And Brandon Aubrey's not even up. I'm not even waiting on Brandon Aubrey. Brandon Aubrey's deal is easy. You can make him the highest paid kicker easy. I'm done with that one. Oh, Micah Parsons. We already know we're not trading him. So if you're not trading him, get him done now. Let's not take Micah Parsons' contract into all the way out like they did these. No, man, don't do it. Let's sign him now. Let's go ahead and sign him now. I'm signing those 5 immediately. I'm not even waiting. I don't know, Slick. We're going to see. I think Brian Schottenheimer, man, Schottenheimer might be different. Schottenheimer may be different. Texas made 2010. Y'all enjoy next season. Texas made, you done jumped off. Man, I've been watching the comments. Man, I've been watching the comments in some of these shows. Boy, they be having me rolling. Boy, these people talking about they done. Some people talking about they going to the Eagles. Some people talking about they going to the Texans. Man. Hey, Slick, let me tell you something. You know what's strange, though? You say, welcome to mediocrity. Do y'all realize we've been spoiled by winning lately? Y'all do know what mediocrity is for us. Mediocrity for us is winning 12 games. I just showed you we're going to probably win somewhere between 10 and 12 games. So for us, if there is one quarterback that the regular season means absolutely nothing to, it's Dak Prescott. Dak has nothing else to prove in the regular season. Nope, if Dak gives us another 12 win season, who impressed? Who really impressed if Dak gets another 12-win season? Who impressed? If Dak gets a 13-win season, tell me who's impressed. Who's impressed? Has he gotten a 13-win season before? Yep. Has he gotten a 12-win season before? 3 times. Well, actually 2. One of those seasons he was hurt. We've watched Dak Prescott. The first season he was hurt 1 game, he got 11 wins. Then the other one he was hurt 5. He got 12 wins. Somewhere in there he got so many wins. But we've seen 12 wins under Dak's resume before. We saw it in 2023. So who's going to be impressed if Dak gets 12 wins? Who's impressed if he get 13? No, because we kind of like, okay, Dak's done this before, no big deal. Where this team and where Schotty is going to have to do some work, it's the playoffs. It's playoffs. That just says he was an abysmal coordinator. Why didn't we pursue Belichick more intensely? Hold on a second. Contact. I don't know if you came in late. That's not true. Wasn't true. I'll put it back on the screen for you. Nope. No, it wasn't. 2018, 2019, 2020. This dude was tearing the league up. Let Russ cook was the same. Russ was cooking. These are the Seattle years. 10-6, 11-5, 12-4. Wild card loss, divisional loss, wild card loss. You look at these numbers. The lower the numbers are, the better he did. You look at his run offense. This is his overall. This is the overall offense. They were 18th in yards, 6th in points in 2018. 8th in yards, 9th in points, 2019. 19th in yards, 17th in points, 2020. And 2020 was the 12-4 season. I don't know where people are getting this stuff on. And I've noticed something about people who say that he was abysmal as an OC. You know what they always go to? They go to every single season except for the Seattle seasons. Now, somebody mentioned the Commanders, but I don't see the Commanders on here. Which tells me that if he was with the Washington Commanders, they probably didn't classify him as an OC. That's the only reason why I could think that he's not on here. So, Schotty wasn't abysmal, because one of the things they're saying about Pete Carroll, I've already mentioned it. They said he was too aggressive for Pete Carroll. That's why Pete Carroll was tripping. He was too aggressive for him. And so, again, Cowboy 5 rings. You know, it's funny because mediocrity. We call 12 wins mediocrity. Because we're used to winning now. Where this team has to make its move is the playoffs. That's where we have to make our move. It's the playoffs. General Sachs. Cowboys are screwed with Screwy Jones in his game. General, I'm telling you. Let's wait and see with Schottenheimer. Because Schottenheimer is really the X factor. All we have to go off of is what we've seen him progressively do. And when we look at what he's progressively done, we know about in the Jets days. In the Jets days, he was actually one of these hot young guru coaches, and people were asking him to be a head coach. He got up the St. Louis, the St. Louis thing, I guess, was some kind of debacle. But the issue is the Seattle thing. He did extremely well in Seattle. Now, if you'll notice, they have him down for 2023 and 2024, even though he wasn't the OC. But the 2023 season is interesting because it's coming out of the building now that Schotty was the reason why they took off in 2023 after week 6. It was Schotty who started putting in all the wrinkles to help out Mike McCarthy, and where Mike McCarthy would trust Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. And that's why they start eating. So let's not judge him based on 2006 through 2000 and let's say 2019 or 2014. What is his latest body of work? It's the Seattle Seahawks and the Cowboys, obviously. I think we got something to look forward to with Shotty. I'm not going to crucify him until, and even then I'm not going to crucify him, but I'm going to wait and see. I'm willing to wait and see on Shotty. I want to see what he's going. I want to see what he is. I do, and I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna probably do more than what we think he's gonna do. I do. And the reason why I think he's going to do more than what we think he's going to do because he'll run the doggone ball. Shotty knew Russell Wilson needed a good running game, but people wanted to let Russ cook. Yes, sir. And it's strange, Willie T, because that last season he got him to 12-4. Anybody could have done that. Oh, man. Oh, whoa. Come on. So now Contact Digest. So let me ask you a question. So if anybody could have did that, why in the world did Russell Wilson fall off a cliff after Brian Schottenheimer? He fell off a cliff. Russell Wilson has not been the same since that last season with Schottenheimer. He hasn't been the same. And I'm pretty sure there's some context around that. You know, some players, some play calling and those things. But, Jose, man, Micah Parsons ain't going nowhere. Micah Parsons is Jerry Jones. I'm sorry. I would call him his son, but Michael Parsons has officially labeled himself as Jerry Jones' nephew. Jerry Jones' nephew ain't going nowhere. Nowhere. Yeah, I'm with you, Troy Dudley. They need a number one running back. Now, the reason why I want them to get and I'm with you, I would actually take the running back first, unless, man, Troy, I got to tell you, I've watched tape on McMillan. I'm sorry. If McMillan is there, bruh, I couldn't pass on McMillan. You put CeeDee Lamb with another wide receiver, it's over. Dak Prescott looks different in the Philadelphia Eagles with the Philadelphia Eagles weapons. Dak looks different. Because you're not going to have to run Dak as much in that type of offense. Dak would be able to use A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Oh, man. And with Goddard, I think it's Goddard, the tight end. Man, Dak would be eating with that team. He would. Doomsday, the coaches must get buy-in by the players for a team to have success. Shotty's got it. These players want to play for coaches they relate to, like it or not, it's the way it is. And they like Shotty. Now, the issue is going to be, his name is what? Eberflus? He's the one that now there's going to be some change on that side of the ball. But, you know, me and Jay Recruit have been talking about this, and I don't think Zimmer wanted to do it anymore. I've been saying this for weeks. I don't think Zimmer wanted to do it anymore. Because if I'm Dallas, I actually would have bought back Zim. It took this team to week 12 to get used to Zim's defense. So now you're bringing in Eberflus, and how long is it going to take him to do his defense? Mike has already said he's not going to do any holding out, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I do too, Andre Bell. I do. I like Eberflus as a DC. I do. I think that's one of the things going to help him. And don't get me wrong. I also think Jason Witten, because I'm not hating on Jason Witten. I just hate the way Jerry is trying to bring in Jason Witten. And I don't know, it's probably not unusual. I mean, people always want to bring some of the people in. So if Jason Witten comes in, I'm not going to be crying about it. But if Jason Witten comes in, he's probably going to be an asset. He'll be an asset. I think he'll bring some mental toughness, and I think we need some mental toughness at the tight end position. I think we need some mental toughness. I think they need somebody like a Jason Witten to really get at him. Jason Witten, I'm thinking, I don't know anything about Jason Witten, but I'm thinking that if Jason Witten comes in, he knows what it is too. And I got a feeling he's not going to try to get in the way of Schotty and start throwing his weight around like I'm going to be the next coach. I don't know. Witten don't strike me as that type. But I tell you what they're doing, at least to me. I want to see what the rest of the staff is going to look like. So you have Brian Schottenheimer, who by all intents and purposes, based on what everyone is saying, he's a team builder. Both sides of the ball, he's a team builder. So this is going to be something different because we haven't had this. I don't think we've had this. Garrett wasn't this. Mike McCarthy wasn't this. Brian Schottenheimer, to me, is going to be different than what they were. From what everyone has been saying, he is someone who is looked at and respected by both sides of the ball. So he's going to do that part. And if they're going to bring in Eberflus, he seems to be a dog. Eberflus seems to be a dog. You bring in Jason Witten, tight ends coach, he'll be a dog. I've been hearing DeMarco Murray coming in maybe as the running backs coach. If they'll put the right position coaches, I said the same thing about Deion. If you bring in Deion, you must insulate him. How do you insulate him? With very good staff, very good assistants. You put dogs around. You put dog around him. And you change the mentality just by the way you do the position coaches. I'm telling us, I got to wait and see. I got to wait and see. Because if this team could do what it did with what they had what were they, 7-10? Man, I'm ready. I'm ready. Wilson Santiago, you talking about the numbers I got on the screen? This is Pro Football Reference. Let me share the wealth with you here, brother. I just put it in the chat. Y'all ever want some of this stuff I'm looking at? I'll send it out there and let you look at it. It's good. It's good stuff. It's a lot of good stuff when you look at it. All right. We're going to do the pregame show tomorrow for the playoffs. Y'all get your picks ready. Well, I'm telling you, they had me in suspense last week. They had me in suspense because I said the Eagles were going to beat the Rams. I thought the Eagles was going to pummel the Rams. Man, them doggone Rams came to play with that defensive line. Man, they had me all sweaty, man, hoping that they had me sweaty. But y'all get your picks ready for tomorrow. Let me read some of your comments on the way out. I appreciate y'all rocking with me tonight. One of these days, I'm telling y'all, I'm going to go all the way to like 6 a.m. We're going to do a super late show. We're going to go all the way to 6 a.m. Joe Smith, he's not the worst guy ever. We could have done better. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we probably could have done better. But I'm going to tell you what happened, Joe Smith. I've been saying this for a while. Now, here becomes the problem when you have a plan. What happens when the backup to the backup fails? Witten is the long-term plan, I believe. The short-term plan, okay, if Mike McCarthy will come back, be on an optional contract, and he give us short years, bring Witten on the staff. Who else knows what they were telling him? That's plan one. Okay, fell through. Okay, let's target Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore slams the door on us. Okay, so now what do we do? Because everyone else, they didn't want the kind of change they were going to bring. Aaron Glenn was going to bring a total change. Ben Johnson was going to be a lot of money. Cliff Kingsbury, obviously not so. And many of y'all was saying you didn't want to see Matt Nagy. You didn't want to see Steve Spagnuolo. Robert Saleh, defensive coach. They don't want a defensive coach. They want a good DC, but they don't want a head coach as the DC. Why? Because they signed the quarterback to $231 million. So that's where the most money is spent, what side of the ball the money's been spent on. So they want to get a coach that's going to be able to help them enhance that side of the ball. Bill Belichick. No one wants Bill Belichick. No one wants Bill Belichick. That's why he's in college. I mean, the Falcons chose their coach. They chose their coach over him. Nobody wants Belichick. So when you start thinking about what was out there, and we'll talk about this tomorrow, because if you could have got your way, and we'll deal with this tomorrow. If you could have got your way, what coach would you have wanted to come to Dallas? With everybody out there, what coach would you have wanted to come to Dallas that would help you with your quarterback? Because that's what they were trying to do. Oh yeah, we getting the running game, because I'm telling you, running game Iceberg Slim is changing life in this joint. Ty Church, yeah, his Jet stats. I looked at those. I read those in a video. Let me stop the press. Ty Church, what's going on? All right, let's look at his Jet stats. Now, if I'm not mistaken, these are the Rex Ryan's years. In a couple of these years, he went to the AFC Championship game. Let's look here. Okay, and what we'll have to look at too, because what you have to have side by side with this to make it make sense. Let's see, Jets. All right, so let's look at the Jets records season by season. All right, so let's make it simple. Let's see. Brian Schottenheimer was with the Jets from 2006 to 2011, correct? So let's look at this. (2006) to 2011. All right. So in 2006, 10-6, 4-12 in 07, 9-7 in 08, 9-7 in 09, 11-5 in 2010. Okay, so we said he was there from 2011. Okay. And so in his last season in 2011, he was 8-8. So he had a winning record. I mean, from 2006 to 2011, he had a winning record. Yeah, 10-8, 4-12, 2 more winning seasons of 9-7, an 11-5 season. Now, if I'm not mistaken, though, they went to the AFC Championship game up under Rex Ryan. I thought that was up under Rex Ryan and up under Rex Ryan and Schottenheimer. Let's see. All right, so let's see if we can look at the Jets' playoff history. All right. So let's look at the Jets' playoff history. These are the Schottenheimer years. Now, if you look at the Schottenheimer years, they hit them playoffs 7 times. I mean, got 7 playoff appearances. Let me see. Yeah, 7 playoff appearances. 7 playoff appearances. 2006, it was the New England Patriots. Okay, you're probably getting beat. They went all the way to the NFC Championship game in 2009. What are we looking for? He went to the NFC Championship game 2009. He went to it's not AFC. AFC Championship game, 2009 season. AFC Championship game, 2010 season. They went to the AFC Championship back to back. I mean, what are you? Tell me what you're trying to get on that one. You said read his stats from the Jets. I'm looking at his stats right here. You look at the yards, 353 in the wild card, 314 in the division, 289 in the conference championship. And look at this. One thing about Shotty, if y'all can see this, let me blow it up. This is where we got to be encouraged with Shotty. Look at this number right here. This dude will run the ball. 169 in the wild card, 120 in the divisional, 70 in the conference. Now, what it tells me in the conference, they either got in a shootout or the Steelers, which has always been a very good defensive team, I guarantee you the Steelers stopped the run. So if you look at those three scenarios, I'm leaning towards the Steelers stop the run. It looks like the score was what? 24-19? I think these are the scores. Team. Yeah, the points the team scored. Points scored, points allowed. They scored 19. Pittsburgh scored 24. If I'm not mistaken, these are probably the Ben Roethlisberger years too. January 10th, the season before, the Indianapolis Colts, they lost 17-30. It's not like they're getting beat by trash teams. I'm thinking, let's see, 2007. Tom Brady has been playing since the 1800s. I was trying to see if it tells us, because if I'm not mistaken, this is probably, this is Tom Brady, I'm thinking. Yeah, this is Tom Brady. Yeah, this is Tom Brady. So Tom Brady and company knocked him off. So Tom Brady and company knocked him off. So if you look at how he's getting knocked off, so that was 2006. He ran into Brady and the Patriots. So let's look at the Indianapolis Colts. If I'm a betting man, in the 2009 season, I'm betting that this is probably Peyton Manning and company that knocked him off. Let's see. Could be wrong. So we got Jim Caldwell as the coach. Wondering who was Peyton Manning. He was running in the juggernauts. I mean, think about who he's running into. And let's go back. I'm telling y'all, man, context matters. Who you're playing matters. So when you look at these games that they lost, they're literally running into, let's see, I don't know, maybe y'all don't remember these quarterbacks. You're going against Ben Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. How do you think you're going to fare? You're going to have a hard time beating those teams. You just are. You're going to have a hard time beating those teams in the playoffs. So these are the Shotty years. These are the Shotty years. He didn't do bad. These are the Shotty years. There's no getting around it. He didn't do bad. I don't know what, because it was the Jets run where people were wanting him to be a head coach. I'm not sure what you're looking for, but if you look at by all intents and purposes, it all looks good. The Jet stint was good. It was. The Jet stint was good. I think Schotty's going to be okay, guys. I do. Andre Mosley, there it is. This is what we're looking for. He needs to win in the playoffs. Oh, man. Okay, no wonder. 2001? Oh, no. No, we ain't going back that far, always are. That's way too far back. Jordan Lewis is cooked, bro. He needs to be gone. I'm done with that era of Cowboys. D-Law is gone also in free agency. I'm done with that. We also need to turn the page. We need to let those guys go. Well, they may very well do it. But we may not have to worry about Jordan Lewis anyway. I think somebody's going to pay him. So, Romo, what are your thoughts on Zach Martin? Because I was thinking about Zach Martin. Will we be willing to bring Zach Martin back if Zach Martin is 100%? Zach Martin was playing with a bad ankle. I wonder if he's 100%, do we want to bring him back? Andre, that's it. There's nothing Dak can do to impress us anymore. Not in the regular season. Dak Prescott and Lamar Jackson. Both of them are great quarterbacks. Regular season don't matter for them anymore. Lamar Jackson, regular season don't matter. And I love Lamar Jackson saying he's not going to blame Andrews. He shouldn't. Because if Lamar Jackson leads Andrews out to the right, rather than making him turn around back to, if he doesn't make him turn back to catch the ball, he probably catches it. Now, I do have a cardinal rule. The ball touch your hand, you got to catch it. But I still say he could have threw a better pass. But I love Lamar Jackson. He's not blaming the game on him because he knows he made some turnovers in the game too. But as it applies to Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott, regular season is no longer impressive. Lamar Jackson, your MVPs are no longer impressive. Okay, you're going to probably get 3 now, and you got as many playoff wins as you do MVPs. You're 3-5 in the playoffs. No longer good enough. Dak Prescott, you're too bleeping good. It is time for you to start putting playoff wins on your resume. Dak Prescott has Hall of Fame numbers. Check his numbers. They're Hall of Fame numbers. But if he don't get in that, if he don't find his way into a Super Bowl, he'll be left out of the Hall of Fame. He's got to get in there. He's got to get a win, and he got to get in these playoffs. Shotty could make Mark Sanchez respectable. Yeah, woo! Czar, yes sir. Man, this man had Mark Sanchez looking like a number 1 pick in some respects. Oh yeah, the butt fumble. Yep, remember that too. Yeah. Oh no, Romo, no, I can't let you get away with that. No, I'm not buying that on the Sanchez stuff, man. No. Nah, I can't do it, man. I saw Mark Sanchez play. No. Never. Man, never had a year like Dak Prescott. Andre Mosley, when he was good, he had a good defense. Yep. That's it. Mark Sanchez, Rex Ryan had a killer defense. Killer defense. He really did. Shotty was the one who got Turpin more involved. Say it, Iceberg Slim. Wilson, I can hear the hype train. Hey, man. I'm just telling, all I can tell you is what I know about Brian Schottenheimer. And he going to show us everything we need to know about game number 9. Let Moore go. Let Dan go. Let Mike go to keep a guy no one wanted to Strange. He was the alternative. That's the issue, Joe Smith. He wasn't the plan. He was the alternative. And sometimes when you're doing the plan, you don't think you're going to get to the alternative. But Mike McCarthy said, "The heck with this junk. I'm not doing it." And what I think it might have shocked him that Kellen Moore said the same thing. And Deion Sanders was always a dream. I never bought into the Deion Sanders stuff. Never bought into it. People talking about all these other things, but no, the O-line is coming together, Romo. The O-line is coming together. We saw flashes. They're going to be healthy coming into the new season. I think our line, we're probably one player and the right combination away from having a very good line. Not gonna go great, but we'll have a good line. Robert said that's a false narrative, G. You can't ignore the part of the picture that ain't pretty because you don't like how it looks. What part are you talking about? I'm just not going all the way back on Schotty, but if you go all the way back on Schotty, Robert, he looked good. He looked good with the Jets. I'm not sure about the St. Louis Rams. He looked good with Seattle. Schotty has looked good more than he's looked bad. I'm definitely not going back to 2001, though. That's too far back. Seahawks want Schotty back, too. Oh, man. Wilson said, not true, G. Those players that made the team were leaving or traded. Which team you talking about? Russell Wilson just played a playoff game. Yeah, he did. Didn't play a good one, but he played a playoff game. Nope. Russell Wilson has not been the same. Nope, he hasn't been. That's why they ran him out of Denver. And Pittsburgh. He was kind of the weak link. Quarterback has been the weak link. They haven't solved it in Pittsburgh yet. G in St. Louis, Schotty didn't have a quarterback. Sam Bradford. Oh, man, stop it, Willie T. That boy, Sam Bradford, robbed the NFL. Sam Bradford robbed the NFL. If I'm not mistaken, it was Sam Bradford was one of the reasons that compelled them to come up with these rookie salary caps, because Sam Bradford robbed the NFL. Got paid all that money. He couldn't stay healthy for a lick. And he was a good quarterback. He just couldn't stay healthy. Anyone looks good with that team Russ was on? I don't know. I have a hard time disconnecting people from good performances. Aaron Wesley, his pops ran the ball. Yep. Just like the Shanahans. Dad, they old school footballer of the new. Yep. I'm with you. I'm with you. Hey, man, I'm excited about this dude. I want to see what he does. Jerry wants 3 first-round picks. Boy, he wish he could get them. He gives me Mike Evans vibes. Are you talking about McMillan? Russell Wilson had Pickett dropping passes. Yeah, Pickett is a trip. Man, I said it too, Contact. I'm telling you, man. If McMillan is there, I'm sorry. I got to pass on Genty. Because I know I can get another running back. I can't get it. Man, I've been watching tape on this dude, McMillan. Oh, man. Man. Ooh, man. Bro, Ty Church. Leslie Frazier. If this dude. Now, is this what they talking about? I thought he was going to be. I thought Leslie Frazier was going to be. Somebody was saying he's going to be a secondaries coach. Now, I'll tell you something about Leslie Frazier. I think Leslie Frazier, if you pay attention to what they're doing, Leslie Frazier is another one of these. He's another one of these dog coaches. And I like what they're doing. Think about what they're doing. So, I bring in a guy who's never been a head coach. Now look what I'm putting around him. I'm putting around him guys who have been head coaches. Now I got Eberflus. Now I got Leslie Frazier. I want to see what they do, what they keep doing with the staff. They're doing exactly what I thought they would have did with Deion Sanders. You insulate him. If you bring in a coach that's never coached before, if you're going to take that chance, insulate him. Insulate him with coaches if you can. If you got head coaches floating around out there who don't have jobs, insulate them with them. Insulate them because they'll be able to help him along the way. They've had their time. They'll be able to help him along the way on some things that he needs to do. Put dogs around him. Put Leslie Frazier around him. Leslie Frazier seems to be a dog. Put them around him. So, yeah, I mean, I love the Leslie Frazier thing, too. I do. I love what they're doing with some of the personnel around him. Yeah, but I'm with him. I like Eberflus. I think he's a good pick. If Brian would have been there, they were winning Super Bowls, then I'll say, okay, we did good making him the HC. We're going to see. All we can do is wait now. Do you bring in Jason Witten? They're going to bring in Jason Witten. I'm not opposed to it. I just think that they don't need to force him on somebody. Iceberg Slim, Ty Frazier is a defensive mastermind. I think they're doing some good things. Eberflus was fine as DC and Indy. Not so much as head coach for the Bears. No, he was not a good head coach. No. Yeah, fundamental hire. Yep. Shotty helped turn Jacksonville around, but the quarterback kept throwing interceptions. Say it, Hubert. Trevor Lawrence. My sons have made me eat crow on this. I thought he was going to be a generational quarterback. No, he hadn't turned out. Tashard Choice. I heard it was going to either be DeMarco Murray or Tashard Choice. I'd take either one of them. If we're talking about making sense, Jerry, if we're talking about making sense, Jerry, on the other hand, hey, I'm telling you, if Shotty can put up with Urban Meyer, man, you ain't never lied. Man, that doggone Urban Meyer is crazy as they come. Yeah, he know what it is. What has Brian did in the league? Oh, what has he ever did in the league? Did a great job with Russell Wilson. The last 3 years, RKTV. Last 3 years, he did. Leslie Frazier's a good DC. Yeah, I think he's going to be an asset. I do. He's going to be an asset. Appreciate you, Jose. Choice and Mary would be a good running back coaches. Choice. Yeah, Tashard Choice. Yeah. See, we're talking about the head coach. But if they continue on the trajectory they're on, what they're putting around him, that's what we need to be focused on. Man, if they put all these good assistants and stuff around him, Brian's gonna be fine. Zartad, Fly Eagles Fly. Hey, I'm picking y'all this weekend. Jason Witten is a maniac. He was child abused by his father. He ain't no punk. Hey, I don't mind him coming in. I don't. Okay, getting to short choice is better than Blasco. Yeah, I think the people they're going to put around him is going to be pivotal. Insulate him. Appreciate your blue star. Appreciate you. Chiefs. Cowboys will not win and don't want to win. Oh, they're going to win. No, they're going to win. Watch what I tell you. Lamar Douglas, Scott Linehan. Yeah, they're going to win. Rex Brown and Eric Mangini years for the Jets. Yeah. Chad Pennington. Yep. Brett Favre, Mark Sanchez. Yeah, we're going to see. Willie T. G keeps saying Jason Witten, but James Slater is reporting that Jason Witten may not be part of the staff. I wonder, though, if that's changed because of everything's going on. We're going to see. I'm waiting on Jason Witten. But if he don't, hey. Because he was definitely a part of the plan in the beginning. Because I think that's the part of the plan they told. We know they told it to Mike McCarthy. I think that was a part of the plan they told to Kellen Moore too. So if James Slater is saying that, then somebody's mind has changed. But we're going to see. But I'm still waiting on Jason Witten. But if he don't, hey, it's not going to hurt my feelings. RKTV. Patience, my brother. Patience. We now have found out so many things that were going on in the background, and this team was still winning 12 games. And even if you look at this insanely crazy season, if the Cowboys are healthy, they still make the playoffs. So we're going to win. Now, Super Bowl is what we're looking for. Loss, so nothing to show for. Glorifying losses don't count. Yeah, we're going to be fine. As I said, if Shotty can make something out of Mark Sanchez, then he's a quarterback. Boy, you hit that on the head. Yes, sir. Because, again, guess what? Sanchez wasn't the same after Shotty either. Playmaker. He went into the AFC Championship with the Jets. Had Mark Sanchez a quarterback. Exactly. Yeah. Darrell Reeves. Oh, man, yes. That boy was crazy with it. Shotty had Mark Sanchez looking good. Yep, y'all right. Jets had LT, albeit at the end of his career. Yeah. 2007 was Chad Pennington. I didn't think Chad was too bad, though. Yes, Rex had crazy defenses. Wilson Santiago, crazy defenses. And unfortunately, they did the best they could do with Sanchez. Jets would have been something if Brett had stayed healthy. Man, they were beating Rex. They was beating Brett to death. Rex is just not good. Hey, he was trying to get back with the Cowboys. I mean, he was trying to get the Cowboys job again. Yeah, you got Jets colors. He said in the kitchen. My dad was a run of Jet games. Yeah. Darrell Reeves. Yeah, man. That man was crazy with it. The Jets lost both. Yep. They lost both of them. Both of them. DMV Fanatic. Appreciate you. Willie T. The Jets were big on running the ball. Yeah. And I think Shotty gonna run the ball here too. I'm here for it. Salute. Let's talk Cowboys. Rock the mic. Yes, sir. I need some myself. Oak Birmingham, Alabama. Yes, sir. Zach Martin would have to be 100%. Yeah. I mean, Willie T, do you bring him back? Because I've been thinking about this. If Zach Martin healthy, do you bring him back? Because if he can play again, whew, man, I don't know if I'm letting him go. Where's your proof that Kellen Moore shut the door on Jerry? That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying, Willie T. They're saying Kellen Moore shut the door on him. Yep. I'm just going by what they're saying. But it matches what Ed Water is saying. Ed Water said the interview was barely an hour. And Willie, it could be another way too. They already knew Kellen Moore. So with Kellen Moore, the real deal is it do you want the job or not? Do you want the job? Blah, blah, blah. That's what they're saying, though. They said that he is the one who shut the door on the Cowboys. That's what they're saying. Steven wanted Shotty. Yep. I think he's going to allow him to pick his own staff. Hey. Well, it looked like they're already picking his staff for him. And that Eberflus thing, I love it. Miss Matrix, what's going on? We'll be back tomorrow. We're gonna be y'all get y'all picks ready for the AFC and NFC championship games. I think they gave Brian 4 years with a 2-year prove it. Yep. I'm thinking more like 3, but I could go with 2. Yeah. Yeah, Willie T. I think this is actually something that they've already. Man, when I heard Jerry Jones Jr. is a part of the reason why they hired Mike McCarthy. Yeah, now we about to start seeing him. This team is in for a crash landing. Something is going on with Steven and Jerry. Yeah, they're battling each other. And Steven seems to be pushing Jerry out the way with the majority, including Jerry Jones Jr. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all rocking with me. I'm telling y'all, we're going to do a 6 a.m. show before it's all said and done. So until the next time, man, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and become a member. As we're going to be doing some great things on this channel going forward, man. We're going to take it all the way, technology-wise and everything. So, again, appreciate y'all, man. Until the next time, let's talk Cowboys. We talk facts. Peace.